Get strong.
What up, degenerates? Roster of the People, semifinal playoff edition, week 16. Here we go. We're going to break it all down for you here, folks. We're going to do what we do. We'll answer all your Thursday night questions first. Get them in. You got like 10-ish minutes before kickoff, so fire them in. Shockingly, we don't have anybody already lining up to ask questions because I don't think anybody's... There aren't that many questions about this game. Really. I mean, if you're playing Kyron Williams, you're playing Kyron Williams. You've been doing it at this point. There's no point in sitting him. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, kind of the same thing. You likely don't have better options. And then it's the Saints where it could get a little interesting because you might have some Olave questions. But if you've got Kamara, you're playing him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the ones that I've been getting more of is like Olave versus Kupp, or Kupp and Puka have been more of the questions that I've seen for today in comparison to clearly the rest of what's going on this week. So
Sure.
Can go either way.
Yeah,
I'm very curious to see what you kind of, if anybody asks us, because those are some good questions that I find interesting, but who actually knows?
Yeah, it's definitely a weird week this week because we're getting some level of questions and traction because it was pretty busy in there today on our Discord with people asking questions, but not all of it is really related to this game. It's also some of the questions are like, do you play Derek Carr? If you've been streaming quarterback, do you play Carr tonight or do you wait? And I would say probably wait because I'm not super interested in having to play Carr tonight. If I could avoid it, I would prefer to avoid it. Stafford's a little bit of a different story. If you wanted to play Stafford, go ahead. He's been consistently out kicking his expectations. So I would, if I had that, then I would go ahead and do just roll with Stafford tonight. He's been good enough to where I feel like he's not exactly what you call matchup proof, but pretty close.
Yeah, fairly consistent for sure. I mean, what is he on the?
I'm not afraid of the Saints defense either. I don't think you are either.
Well, it's been really hit or miss. It depends on which Saints defense shows up.
But yeah, well, that's what I've been saying all year. There are two Saints teams. There's a Saints team that is a borderline playoff team, and then there's the Saints team that is one of the worst three teams in the league. And it's what up, Polo? So it's weird because you never know what Saints team is going to arrive at the game. Is it the good Saints team or the bad Saints team? I don't know. The one on tonight either. I would tell you I would not, if I was doing straight pick 'em, I would not pick the Saints to win this game.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's what? I think they gave him 4 points to the Rams. So, yeah. But over the past, since week 11, Matthew Stafford is quarterback 6.
Yeah, exactly. So you could probably start that with confidence and just not really worry about it too much. I was pulling up my rankings actually to double check something. Yeah, I have Stafford at 9. So feel pretty good about that. Whereas Carr, I have at 21. So for all the folks in the Discord that were asking that question, is Puka worth playing tonight? As always, depends what your other options are. I'd say in a vacuum, yes. I have Puka wide receiver 15, Polo, in PPR. So if you have something better than wide receiver 15, go ahead and play it. But yeah, I have him in the same neighborhood as Brandon Ayuk, Jalen Waddle, Adams, Higgins, things of that nature. So I view him as like a mid-level wide receiver 2. That's where I'm at with that. What about you, Jason?
For Puka, that's what I'm kind of trying to see. I currently have him. Yeah, that's about right. I have him just behind Olave, but ahead of Waddle, Adams. Ridley needs to drop now since it's looking like Trevor Lawrence might be out with that concussion.
But ballpark it like wide receiver 2, like do it that
I mean, like I said, I have him currently at Well, wide receiver 17.
Okay, so wide receiver 2. So there you go. Your other wide receivers are DJ Moore and St. Brown. I'd play DJ Moore. I would definitely play DJ Moore and St. Brown. I have DJ Moore at 9, and I have St. Brown at 5. So
DJ
you would
Moore.
have to be flexing Puka at that point.
Amon-Ra at 3.
3 flex league. Okay, then you're probably playing Puka because he would definitely fall into a flex there, unless your running backs are insane. While we wait for that, we do have one other quick one. Juan wants to know Mullins over Stafford. Stafford comfortably is the answer to that.
I don't know. It really depends what we need here.
Look, I got Stafford at 9. I got Mullins at 15. So to me, this is not a debate.
Yeah, I have, let's see, Stafford at 8 and Mullins at 6. So it's really close for me.
I always forget your rankings are written in crayon. That is I could not bring there's no universe where I could bring myself to play Nick Mullins that high. I acknowledge that Detroit's a good matchup, but there's not enough sample for me to have that level of confidence.
It's not so much in him, it's just the fact that that offense is fully healthy, and it's, like you said, a really good matchup for the wide receivers, which both Addison and Justin Jefferson could easily go for over 100 yards here and not break a sweat on it.
I just don't trust it. I trust Stafford more. You said it yourself. I don't know if Juan was here for that part of it, but you said it yourself. He's been QB6 since week 11. So I've got a nice, meaty, thick and veiny sample for Stafford. I do not have the same for Mullins, and I don't have the level of confidence with Mullins to ever put. I couldn't put him in the top 10. Not with what I've seen.
Well, him and Stafford were 11-12 last week. So
Henry, Spears, Charbonnet, Moss. No, there's no universe where you're sitting Polo or Puka. With that.
Yeah.
You're playing Puka, Polo.
And then you're probably playing Henry and
yeah, you probably hate it, but you're probably going to play Henry and Spears because Moss probably isn't playing. Because normally you'd be playing Henry and Moss.
Yeah.
Taylor's coming back. That hurts Moss, and then Moss is also hurt. So what you're actually hoping for in reality is that Ken Walker is more hurt than it sounds, and Charbonnet is going to get the start. That's actually what you're hoping for here. So that's kind of where it is. So you're playing Puka. That's happening. We sort of disagree on the whole Mullins Stafford thing, which I find weird. But I'm telling you right now, I'm going to hike my khaki pants all the way up to my nipples, and I'm going to roll Stafford tonight, 100%. Puka or Higgins? Puka by 3 spots, because this has to be quick, Jason. You got 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think I have Puka just barely above him, but man, I really like Higgins this week. I have him really high.
Yeah, no, I have Higgins as an inside of top 20, but I have Puka at wide receiver 15, like I said. I have Higgins at 18.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think they're separated by like 3 spots, so it's not.
It's 3 spots for me, literally 3 spots. Like it's that one I know because I've been asked that question all week. Tony, you're not alone. I get that. I've been getting that question a lot. But I would put Puka in tonight just based on the idea that I'm expecting Stafford to have a good game tonight. I'm expecting the offense to have a good game tonight. I really don't believe the Saints defense is going to be able to slow them down. I know it's a Thursday. I know it's going to make you nervous. But at this point, I'm going to dance with who brought me. And this year, that's Puka. Because Higgins has been good, and I get that he's going to be the wide receiver 1, but we haven't really seen that with Browning under center. So he should get plenty of targets and get plenty of work. And I pray to God.
And the matchup is really good too.
It's pretty good. It's not amazing. I know Michael Pittman was well on his way to tearing those people a new you know what before they cheap shotted him because it's the Steelers, and that's what the Steelers do. Fight me. Been watching the Steelers my whole life. The Steelers is a bunch of cheap shot artists and always has been. That's why those Steelers Bengals games were so fun for years, because they would just cheap shot each other and then it would end in a fight. Remember Vontaze Burfict? I remember Vontaze Burfict. Yeah. So yeah, that's where we are. Okay, we got 1 minute before game time, folks. See, Jason, I knew we'd get some Thursday night questions. They're not what I was expecting, though. I was expecting more car questions. We didn't get nearly the car questions.
Yeah, Minka is out, which is also helping things. They also had somebody who is suspended, right? Who the heck got suspended for that cheap
shot? The guy who cheap shotted Michael Pittman, whose name I can't pronounce.
But
it's like, oh God, I can get it. I've been struggling to pronounce this guy's name. I don't remember how you say it. It's
Trenton Thompson.
No, it's Wait, you talking about tonight, or are you talking about the Steelers guy?
Steelers. Whoever the Steeler who cheap shotted is also missing. That's
Yeah,
what I was trying to
it's
think of.
DeMonte Kazi. That's who
Okay,
you're
that's
thinking
right.
of, because he has multiple
Disregard
incidents
or
of cheap
blatant hit.
shotting.
Yeah.
He's got multiple safety concern flag thingies. So they're sending him off to go pound sand somewhere. Okay, that's all the Thursday night questions. Good luck tonight, gentlemen. I am very fortunate personally. We're all in all my playoff games, and I'm in the semifinals. I don't have to pay attention to this. I have no Saints or no Rams. So I'm just going to enjoy this for a change. I'm going to watch a rare Thursday game. I'm going to watch a rare game where I have no stake in the outcome and don't care. I'm going to enjoy watching Kirk Herbstreit is wearing a level of makeup that makes him look like a geisha. I'm just pointing that out.
Yes.
Like, he looks like a geisha. Or like a porcelain doll. It's jarring every time I see him on camera, where it's like, dude, what? Like, don't let them do that to you. You can't. What? Like, all right. And with that, we have a late addition to the party.
Oh.
Hang on. There we go.
Hey.
And then this guy showed up. Look at him all
fashionably late.
All comfortable in his champion hoodie. Look at
How's
him.
it going?
Oh, it's going. We answered the Thursday night question, so we're transitioning away from the Thursday night game a little bit, which is just getting ready to kick off. So we had a lot of questions about Puka, a couple questions about the quarterbacks in the game. Not as much as I would have thought, but
I think I dealt with most of them. And, we're at the point that it's pretty late in the year. So we have a limited sample size moving forward.
Right.
I think you mean limited pool more than sample size, but
yeah, that's right. Like,
but yes, we have less people to answer their questions than we normally do. But yeah, it's an interesting week because obviously it's the semifinals. So if you're still watching this, you either love the sound of our voices, which I doubt. The data tells me that's not true, or you are in the semifinals, and if you are, congratulations, because I know I've got a couple semifinals games, and I've got a couple games that made me very angry last weekend. Mostly the Seahawks. Will never forgive Pete Carroll for any of that. I will take that to my grave, that whole situation. So that made me very angry for reasons that I will not elaborate on because it's a waste of everyone's time and it's all in the rear view. That whole situation upset me. Very upsetting what they did. Well, okay. So I was confident that they would do like Geno Smith or Drew Lock, right? And I'm like, no, you found a new third way to piss me off, which is just not naming a starter. I'm like, oh, I hadn't considered that idea, that you just wouldn't do it. Like, okay. So here I am thinking that you had to actually name a starter for league purposes and for really what in reality is betting purposes. No, apparently not. You can just do whatever you want. Okay. That's fun. I didn't know that. We learned a lesson for the future. All right, let's help Tony. His team's got injuries. Yeah, that happened. Chase is out. Watson and Robinson. Okay, well, I don't think either of Watson or Robinson is going to play, if I'm being honest here. Robinson's got a long road to getting back for this game. Also, by the way, Washington's playing for nothing. So why even bother bringing Robinson back at this point? Your running back that you still have on a rookie deal that you need. Watson's kind of a similar thing. I don't like him, but the Packers do. Ford, who was deeply disappointing last week. Jason, if you would have told me that I was right about picking Etienne over Ford, but that the respective scores would be 9 points to 7 points, yeah, that's not. I won, but nobody won really.
Yeah.
Because you and I were splitting that on Thursday and on Sunday, and I'm like, no, it's Etienne, it's fine. It's fine. And you're like, Ford, you got to play Ford. And I'm like, no, don't play Ford. They're going to need to throw it. Like, I didn't want to do. And then both of them couldn't get to double digits. So I'm like, I won. Yay. Doesn't feel like winning. Doesn't feel like winning.
Well, if you add Hunt's points to him, Ford won, which is the correct answer.
Sure, which you don't. But you don't. But you don't do that.
Because then
This
you
is
get a
not
touchdown.
some sort of Dragon Ball Z style fusion situation where you can start combining people.
Olave,
not
3 for
happening.
36 already, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. What?
Olave, already 3 for 36.
Okay. So yeah, so the question is Ford, Chase Brown, or Ferguson at the flex. Yeah, you willing to go back on the Ford train?
No, I'm actually going to go Chase Brown here because of the matchup.
That's interesting. Not what I would do at all, but okay.
I like how he's been being used. I looked at sorry. Golly.
Didn't
Bro.
even use.
Sorry. But the Steelers matchup, he's been seeing more targets and being used in the backfield. There's a lot of upside there. And the Steelers, like we kind of touched on, have a lot of injuries on their defense. So feel like Chase Brown's a nice matchup, especially if Higgins actually does see potentially double coverage.
Well, that's the concern about Higgins is that they just take him away and say, beat me with Tyler Boyd. And I don't know that they could do it. I also don't know that it matters if you double cover T. Higgins, as we've seen in the past. Doesn't always matter. It kind of depends on who your corners are. Because you can put a little 2.58 guys on T. Higgins, and it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Are they over 6 feet tall, these people? Because they kind of need to be. Otherwise, he's just a tree out there that can run a 4.5. And it's like, that's not a normal thing that people can do. For me, I actually have Ferguson and Ford at 70 and 71 in my flex rankings, respectively. And I would actually, this is the rare situation where I would actually probably play Ferguson because I know what I'm getting. And Ford has not been seeing the carries since he's had to start splitting. And since Flacco came in, he has not been the player that you had been hoping for. And I am not really thrilled about going back to Ford as a volume play because as we've seen, if he scores, you're good. If he doesn't score at this point, given his relative usage, you are in deep trouble. That's how you get a 7. It's like he has to score. And I'm not convinced he's going to against Houston. He should, because Houston's been bad against the run, and they're going to be bad again this weekend because they're not going to have what's his name? Help me, quarterback.
CJ Stroud.
Yeah, they're not going to have CJ Stroud again. So they should have plenty of time, but I'm not buying it. So I would play Ferguson based on the idea that the Cowboys need to win this game now, and they're not going to stop taking their foot off the gas. They're going to try and score 70 points because they got to get the taste of dick out of their mouth from last week. So that's definitely a they're going to need some scope. Going to need some possibly some Listerine. Might need to mix them together. Because yeah, they didn't even get a kiss goodnight. Didn't even get a kiss goodnight. Just I have more inappropriate analogies. How many more do you want? I could keep going. Like, have I made my point? And now let's go to Lance. Lance, who do you like out of those 3 guys? Ford, Chase Brown, Ferguson. We're assuming PPR because it was not specified. We have 1 vote Chase Brown and 1 vote Ferguson so far.
I really want to just continue to be unhelpful and go Jerome Ford here, but with the lack of volume, he got like that was the lowest amount of carries he's gotten all this entire year with 8 this past week. And I get you can argue game script against the Bears, but which is kind of sad.
Bears defense has been playing better.
It has been. It has been.
They should have won that game. If they weren't blisteringly incompetent, they would have won that game. But you take a Hail Mary at halftime, and then you completely poo the bed with about 7 minutes to go. And in true
Mooney
Bears
should have
fashion,
had that though.
What's that?
Mooney should have had that.
Well, but it never should have come to that.
Onion should have had it way earlier.
It never should have come to the Hail Mary at the end. You kick a field goal at halftime instead of going for a Hail Mary because you're a clown and your team is run by clowns in full clown white makeup. They should all be on the sideline in little cars. That's the Bears. Like that's the Bears coaching staff and front office. It's not run by people that are competent. It's run by people that know less about football than me. I'm very confident in that opinion that they know less about football than I do. And it's like they just don't know what they're doing. And it's like I know they're going to sit there and say, that's a long field goal. And I'm going to say, okay, so but that's worse than trying to throw a Hail Mary that has like a 2% chance of success. The field goal probably has like a 20% chance of success. Like, what are you doing? And they never should have. They fell apart at the end in true Bears fashion because they can't close. That team has pieces that it could actually like do stuff, but it's not being set up and deployed properly.
No.
And I'm not trying to be Mr. Fire, a coach guy, but I have not been impressed by Eberflus. He's got a lot of work to do in terms of actually like winning people back over. So it's one of those deals. So what was your actual answer there before we derailed into the Bears? I don't want to talk about it. We covered it. I don't talk about the Bears anymore.
I'd go Ferguson, honestly, and it's hard to justify tight end over running back. I get that, but Ferguson.
Well, to be fair, Chase Brown is actually a wide receiver.
But yeah, right. That they just have plain running back. Like,
I mean, I want a little more than 3 receptions a week or 3 targets a week.
You want to talk to me about? Oh, you want to talk to me about Chase Brown next year? Sure.
Yeah. No, definitely.
No. In a playoff game in the semifinals,
yeah,
I can't do it.
It's a little risky.
Because I know what's going to happen. Ferguson's going to catch a touchdown and put up like a 13, and then Brown's going to get like not nearly enough work to matter, and so will Ford, and I'll freaking want to blow my brains out on Monday. So I couldn't bring myself to do it. If I played Ferguson with the sample I have and the knowledge I have and knowing what is going to most likely to happen, if that fails, I will look in the mirror on Monday and say, well, you did what you could.
Yeah.
The other stuff leaves the door open to self-loathing for me, where it's like, why'd you have to get cute? Why'd you have to do? Why you gotta do stuff like that?
Because I'm adorable. That's how that works.
It's highly debatable. Highly debatable. That's a debatable topic. I guess many things that are adorable are really annoying. Hello Kitty, Jason,
puppies.
But I digress. So, and yeah, Tony said he played Ford last week, and this is why we're getting this question. So I get it. And you're very welcome, by the way. All right, let's move to somebody. Let's move to Bird Flu. We'll go to Bird Flu coming in from Twitch.
Oh man,
the Bird Flu. I'm sorry, didn't mean to. The Bird Flu. The Bird Flu 511 is like the information on.
Hopefully, like started Stafford.
Yeah, this came in after the game had already kicked off. So, this question was posted. I want to point out at 6:19 Mountain Time, so 4 minutes after the game had already kicked. So, we will answer it. But yeah, I have Lamar rated like right around Stafford, but honestly,
terrifies me.
It's scary. It is scary. So I probably would have just said, screw it. I'll play Stafford because he's probably going to throw for 3 touchdowns tonight on a crappy Saints defense anyway. And if the Saints are moving the ball, as you said, great. That's even better for me.
Yep.
Love it. Good. Let them move the ball. Fantastic. Like that just means they're going to have to throw more. So I probably would have rolled with Stafford given where I'm. The only issue with that would have been if it's some weird playoff format that I can't identify. Like, for example, if it's like a 2-week playoff format, it would change my answer. Or if I was projected to lose by a lot. Like, if I'm a huge underdog in that game, like if I'm going to lose by like 20, I probably would have just played Lamar. Because the rushing floor would have swung it in that case. And it's like, no, I need all the upside. I need then it becomes who's most likely to get me a 40. And the answer to that is Lamar. Stafford is the one that's most likely to not poo the bed. Lamar is the one that's got a way higher chance of putting up a 40 and really blowing the number out.
Lance?
Let's not. Well, don't worry about it because I'm going to have Lance go first on the next question because that's kind of a moot point. It's already, the decisions are made. The die has been cast. So, 2RB, Walker, Williams, Elliott, Taylor. Go ahead, Lance.
Obviously, I would go Williams if hopefully.
I think everybody would go Williams. I think we're all going to agree. Let's just take we'll just pick one because we all agree that you're going to play Kyron Williams, and you probably already did. So just take that out of it.
You know, I have I have a tough time going away from Walker and going with Elliott over him, so I would probably do Walker, although I know he's a little banged up right now. Jonathan Taylor, I don't know how this backfield's going to work now. Like, he's coming back, but at the same time, they've had a weird thing with Zach Moss all year. Like, granted, when John Taylor initially came back from the holdout, he pretty much took the reins within a couple weeks, but it kind of took a little bit for them to kind of figure it out. And being it's, you know, lose one, you go home, I would be a little cautious, just to see it for a week before I feel confident about it.
Okay, so it's 1 vote for Walker. Jason.
Have them back to back between Walker and Taylor, but I'm going to go with Walker versus the Titans. I mean, I just like that matchup a little more. Taylor's going up against the Falcons. Granted, doesn't mean a whole lot, but he's also been beat up. Makes me a little more nervous on him. I know Walker's also dealing with injury. Like, both of these guys aren't the ideal situation, but I really prefer Walker's matchup in comparison to Taylor's.
All right, so I have Taylor the highest of those options, but there's a big smelly butt to that, which is it's kind of dovetails into what these gentlemen have just kind of laid out, which is there's a significant amount of risk to playing Jonathan Taylor because while I'm not anticipating Moss even being available for that game because he's beat up, that hasn't happened yet. They haven't officially ruled him out. Now, I'm anticipating that that's going to happen. And when it does, my ranking kind of bakes that in. So it's one of those situations where I want more information on Taylor, and I want to see Moss actually get ruled out. And once that happens, I want to see he gets through a full week of practice. Taylor gets officially cleared. So we'll know more on Friday. But if he's officially cleared and he practices in full on Friday and Zach Moss is deactivated, I would probably play Taylor. Because if he's going to get the whole thing, okay, I like that. So there is that. And then my alternatives are less attractive in the background. And I actually, weirdly, I have it rated as Taylor, Zeke, Walker, but I have Zeke and Walker right next to each other because it's a similar thing. I need to see Walker actually get cleared. He's been too hurt this year for me to just assume he's going to play at this point, or play without restrictions because Charbonnet is going to be a factor in that. Whereas Ramondre is likely going to be out again. And I'm somewhat surprised if we saw Ramondre play again this year, given the record of the team and why hurt him when you need him. And Zeke hasn't been amazing, but when he gets the whole job, it's been good enough. And then here's the final thing on that. He draws Denver. And that's about as good of a matchup as you're going to get running the ball is Denver. And they're going to have to run. They're going to run the ball against Denver. They're going to try to. That game's going to be. I think that game has a chance to be very low scoring, as both teams try to rely on their defenses and body up and run the ball. The only thing I like on the Denver side of the ball really is Cortland Sutton. And then on the Patriots side of the ball, it's Zeke and maybe DeMario Douglas if he plays, if I was desperate. But I'm not super interested in anything else that isn't those things. I don't really want to play Javonte Williams if I don't have to. You know what I mean? That's scary. Don't like that. And you weren't really playing any other Broncos anyway. There's just the two. So yeah, that's the way I have it ordered. But I bet my order is different from your guys' order. So, in fact, I know it is different from Jason's. He just said it. So I hope that was helpful. I think we actually did maybe help somebody there. Likely or Kincaid?
Likely.
Yeah, I'd go likely too.
I'm double checking something. Yeah, likely. Sweep it. Okay, and then likely or Engram? I go Engram. That's where it flips.
I don't know now. I'm more nervous with
Well,
the
okay, I'll tell you
potential of
what.
Lawrence
That
being out.
assumes Trevor Lawrence is quarterback.
Yeah.
If
I go
Trevor Lawrence
Ingram.
is not the quarterback, then no, we don't play Evan. We don't play anyone really from Jacksonville
Yeah.
except maybe Etienne because you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Okay. And then we're going PPR. We're assuming PPR. That's the other thing on this one too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Really close.
Again, he didn't specify, so I assume PPR.
Okay. If that's the case, then I will go Ingram. In full. If it's anything less than full, it's likely. I've likely with more yards this week.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm now realizing why some of the messages that are in here are in here. A thought occurs to me. Jason, read what's in the top left corner of your screen, the actual StreamYard screen. Just read that. We'll keep all this in because there's no point in trying to hide it. What I did because I was in a hurry because I was sitting down like at 5:58 to do this. Just read at the. See the little duck? What's next to the duck?
Nice.
Yeah. This is what happens when all of the things are posted in advance and I'm not building them. I just sometimes you get hurt. You're click. That really explains a lot about what's been happening here. That explains a ton. So many things just made sense. The fact that we had less audience than usual, the lack of questions. This comment by Daniel. No, Daniel, you're not in the wrong place. I'm in the wrong place. I did this. You didn't do anything. You did what you were supposed to do. I did this to everybody. So I apologize. And with that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense of why nobody could. Okay. How does that even? Oh my gosh. I haven't even pulled it up to look. I wonder if it even has it right, because that would be even more funny.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta check real quick.
Correct. Yep. That's why people aren't here, buddy.
Yep,
oh my
I see.
God.
Yeah.
Oh, golly, man.
At least now I can say I made it onto 3 different shows instead of just 2. So I mean, I'll take it. But
Oh, yikes. Well, that's interesting. No wonder we're struggling. Sorry. Wow. All right. Well, I can adjust
Well, I
that,
just
send
had
that out for you.
I had to go put myself in the penalty box for a little while for that little mistake, and I also had to go pop into the other studio, the one we should be using.
Yeah. What did he fix it?
No, I can't fix it. It's not fixable. It's not fixable. But what I'm saying to you is, there are questions in there. Like no kidding, right? Like there's stuff in there that we didn't do. So I apologize to everybody because this is my fault, like straight up my fault. Normally I would try to blame Jason, but I can't even do that because this is literally my fault.
Blame.
No. I don't want anybody to take the blame.
No, I'll take the blame.
I did this.
It's because Lance is late.
I did that.
I wanted to
I
be
did
on.
it.
I wanted to be on another show, so I sabotaged it.
Oh my
I
God.
did this. This is my fault. I screwed up and I read the wrong thing because I was trying to go quickly. Hold on. I gotta go put myself back in the penalty box. Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I'll send the new link out since this is clearly on the wrong one. And I saw people were literally waiting in that room like, oh, okay. My bad. But not really. It's definitely just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
God, that's rough.
I was wondering why we had so many. Do I start this person or this person? Like all the way up through kickoff. I'm like, really remember this through last?
Yeah, I was like, there's hardly anything. Yeah, but
yeah.
Oh well. Yeah.
Semifinals week. What do you do?
Like I said, just sometimes that's how it goes.
No, it's just me being an idiot. That's my fault. I was getting out of work and I was trying to set all this up and I was running around and I just grabbed the first. I just didn't really read. I just like jumped in and was like, all right, let's go. Like, because I forget that it my stupid brain doesn't process information this way. You would think it would put the one that you need at the top of the page. It doesn't. It puts it at the bottom of the page. And it's like, well, that's not how my brain operates. Like it goes just top line, like this is what we need. Let's go. So I just grabbed something off the shelf and then just started going. So I apologize to everybody who did not get their questions answered. It's my fault. You blame me. I did this to you. Get at me on Twitter at @nonsense_Neil. Chew me out in the Discord. It's my fault. I'll fall on the sword here. I did this.
If you just search, I didn't even try that. If you just search, does it show that as live?
Well, it shows this as live because it.
I know, but if you're already a fan of the page, which one would you have?
I don't know. I don't know enough about how it works. Honestly, I don't know, and I'm not going to guess. But the whole, I do feel bad because there were some people in there that were asking questions that were pertinent to tonight, and they didn't get their question answered. So, in that great tradition of important nonsense, failing spectacularly, we'll just chalk this up to failing spectacularly, and I will just own this. I will own this as a total failure. So, I'm still getting used to everything being posted in advance and actually having to read. Normally in the past, I would just build these as we go, but that's not how it works anymore. All right. Well, I apologize if you didn't get your question answered, but one of the people in there, Jason, was Tamara. Or Tamara, excuse me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to leave and go in there and grab the questions and start DMing people, I don't know if you can be in 2 rooms at once.
Well, I can at least hop on whatchamacallit. Should be able to find on my YouTube.
Here's what I can do.
Okay.
Here's what I can do for you. I apologize to everyone watching this.
Because it's super riveting television.
It's not what we're here to do. All right, Jason, if you want to go look at that, because that way I know you can DM some of these people, and we'll try to mend fences that way. While you do that, we will soldier on. Daniel, you're not in the wrong place. I'm an idiot. Is the short version. I've wished to be illiterate in the past, and clearly today I got my wish. So, all right, Daniel's girlfriend will be asking questions tonight. PPR, pick one. Jacobs, Hall, Zeke, Achane, Singletary.
I'm pretty sure I have Hall the highest.
Yeah, Hall's the reason why I'm not in the playoffs anymore in the league, so really not going to be recommending Hall to other people. I think I want to go double checking something. Where is my... Yeah, okay. That's not great. Yeah. Wow, gross. That's unfortunate. God. Okay. I mean, you're just going to have to bite the bullet. At least that's what I would do. I have Breece Hall rated the highest. I have him 3 spots ahead of Zeke, who's the next closest. I have Hall at 15. And that doesn't really say much about Hall. It says a lot more about how injured running back is this year. Because you don't really want to recommend the guy who had a 3 in PPR last week. That being said, they play Washington.
That's the whole reason I have him the highest.
That's why he's the highest for me, too. I forgot why I did that. And then I was like, oh, yeah, he's playing Washington. Crap. So I don't really want to recommend Hall to you, Daniel, but that is, in fact, what I'm going to do, and I hate it. Makes me feel dirty. Makes me feel worse. As bad as my little gaffe with the showrooms tonight. Actually, no, the showrooms is worse.
Cool. Well, at least answer those real quick for you.
Did you pop in there and answer those questions while I continue to actually do the proper show?
Yeah, well, I hopped on YouTube and I wish I could do them simultaneous. I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, I don't think you can be in 2 StreamYard rooms at once. All right, so you went into YouTube and replied to the comments on the other thing just so people got something, hopefully. Lance, what's your choice here?
Yeah, I'd definitely go Brees Hall. 32nd ranked offense against the 32nd ranked defense. So it's that whole meme of when a stoppable force meets a movable object. So, again, I'd love to go Jacobs here if he was healthy, but it just doesn't look like he's going to be playing. I don't think Brees Hall is great, but you're kind of going with the best of not the best options here with just how banged up running back is, like you said. And, just you need something that's going to be safe and not kill you this week, especially. So that's why I'd go Hall.
And thank you for bringing this to my attention, Daniel, obviously. All right, Daniel wants to know, build my lineup is what that is. Connor, Ford, Barkley, Chandler. So running backs first.
Barkley and Chandler. Ooh, wait.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be.
It's PPR, yeah. I just wish Connor... Oh, that's my issue. I just wish they would pass it to him.
I have it as Barkley and Chandler as well. Barely over Connor, who would be my third choice. So Connor 30-point game incoming, just like last week. And then wide receivers is Adams, Lamb, DK, Noah Brown. So that's pretty easy. That's Lamb and Adams.
Oh, really? Okay.
No, you're going to sit here and try to talk to me about how you have Noah Brown rated as a top 20 play because you're smoking crack. Go ahead, take the floor.
It's DK. I had DK and
Lamb.
Oh,
wow. I'm surprised now. Now I am actually surprised.
No, because Collins looks like he's on track to play, which is essentially what Brown has been doing. So he's going to get knocked down a few picks due to that. Now, if Collins is out, he might slide in there, but it's...
Are you doing the whole DK Metcalf thing because of his matchup with Tennessee?
Well, and just he's the one who's seeing the majority of the targets. Like, if they actually start connecting and he gets close to 70% of catching the balls that he's targeted, I'm completely fine playing him. He's saying 8 or 9 targets and he's catching 6. That's 14 points in my mind. Check. Let's go.
Well, it's not going to matter because it's going to come down to the flex, and for me, you're going to play the wide receiver over Connor anyway. So if you play DK flex or you play that's just the way it's going to be. So you're probably going to end up playing DK and Adams in almost every scenario in a PPR league.
Unless Collins is out, then he'll play Brown over Adams. But yeah.
I would put you in the penalty box if I wasn't so ashamed. If I wasn't so ashamed of myself right now, I would literally put you in the penalty box for that take. Lance, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd pretty much go chalk. I mean, Barkley, Chandler obviously have the most upside there. Adams, Lamb, and DK and then flex. Just kind of chalk across the board. Don't overthink it. So.
All right, and then
no point.
Okay, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex. You're playing Cooper.
Yep.
And then I hate all your other options. I hate them all.
Yep.
So Cooper.
I think I have Schultz.
God, so ugly after that.
Actually, it might be Goddard because Smith popped up today with an injury. And if Smith is out, Goddard gets a big boost.
Even with that, it might be Goddard just because I have to pick a flex. I don't want to play Kincaid at all.
Yeah, the lowest.
I don't really want to play Schultz either, if I'm honest.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either. So realistically, you're talking about the only tight end I want or I didn't even really want him, but I would be willing to accept is Goddard. And then I got to pick from wide receivers I don't want. So if that's the case, then I think I'm going to play Ridley, and I hate it. Yeah, it's going to be Ridley. It's going to be Ridley and Ridley Cooper Goddard for me, and I hate it.
Or you can drop Kincaid and pick up Tucker Kraft.
Playoff game?
With Watson potentially out and Reed being beat up and potentially out. Could do worse.
Jason's wearing his ovaries on the outside today.
Yeah, I'd go Cooper for sure. I really want to go Kincaid here over Goddard.
You do that. You commit suicide live on the air. That's fine. You do that. I'm done
doing
walking into that.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And then
one more.
So they said like NP, like just standard.
No point. Means standard.
Okay. Walker, like Ken Walker.
No. It's only this.
No. You're reading that wrong. It's the middle part after the semicolon.
Oh,
NP,
okay.
One wide receiver, one tight end, one flex.
I got you.
You'll learn how to read Daniel at some point.
We've adjusted it.
It's not English. It's just better. Daniel. This is better than what it was.
Yeah.
So
no, I'll go Ridley then. Yeah. Okay. It's not.
All right, and then one other one. This is standard again. Hubbard, A-Chain, Warren, Walker.
Walker.
Yeah, I would also do Hubbard and Walker, and my third choice.
The ones that brought you.
My third choice is actually Warren.
Yep, I am terrified of A-Chain.
I don't want to.
I'd go Warren and Walker.
League. Yeah, everybody agrees it's Warren and Walker. I'm just bringing up a third choice because if Walker ends up sitting, you gotta backfill it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, and then Tanner Hudson or Dalton Schultz. I'm so sorry you have to make this decision.
Sure. Again, with CJ probably he's out. I'm going to go Hudson.
I'm playing Schultz and I hate it.
Makes you feel dirty.
All of this makes me feel dirty. I took a shower and shaved before this, and I feel like I immediately need another shower and shave.
If CJ plays, Schultz, but as of now, Hudson.
All right. CJ's not playing, by the way.
Yeah,
they already rolled him out.
They already more or less said he ain't playing. So,
gotcha.
All right, we got one thing right. We got exactly one thing correct. A world of wrong answers. All right, Daniel's girlfriend, Angela.
Let's go.
All right, let's help Angela, and let's give Daniel all the wrong information. Let's see.
Probably gonna be Collins and Palmer.
It's a PPR league.
I think those are the two I have the highest.
I could see why this team is a playoff team, but it's not getting healthy at the right time.
Yeah, definitely a little beat up with certain.
I get why that's a playoff team because it's definitely a playoff team, but it's got issues at the moment. See, I'm not convinced Nico Collins is playing. That's my problem.
So you play Brown. It's an easy pivot there. She has them both.
Yeah, she does have both, which is probably smart.
Those are two best friends I ever have.
You probably want both. Picking two, right?
Yes.
Yep.
PPR.
Yeah. Well, the way I have it at the moment, and this is obviously on a Thursday evening and not Sunday morning. The way I have it is Flowers because they're gonna need to throw. It's just a question of can he get open against that defense. It's gonna work the middle of the field some, so you would hope. I have it as yeah. Where is my? Oh, that's why. See, that's the thing. You're asking me this question on a Thursday. So if you check my rankings today, I would have it as Flowers and Thielen because I know they're playing. So, but if you want to talk to me on Sunday morning or Saturday night, once I have proper practice reports, well, I'll be running the chat and making you look bad.
Oh, whatever.
That's what you signed up for. Well, that's what I wrote very tiny in the contract you signed that you didn't read thoroughly.
The lawyers didn't catch it. It's on them.
Lawyers. Yeah, there's no lawyer. If there was a lawyer, I wouldn't be employable. Let's see here. Yeah, I see that the Texans guys are interesting, but I'm concerned about what advice to give you. So we'll know more after practice reports come out, because if they do rule Collins out, I would tell you if Collins is ruled out, I would probably move Noah Brown up to a point where it would probably be Flowers and Brown.
You're still going to go Flowers. Man.
Yeah. Thielen, well, it's because Thielen's scary because it's just there's no consistency to it anymore, and that team is horrible.
Taking the garbage time, baby. Palmer.
The only reason I'm even willing to entertain this was because Noah Brown was okay with Keenum last week, and I think you might have a shot at that happening again. And Palmer, I would love to recommend Palmer. You know I love Josh Palmer, but not with Stick. There's no chance I'm recommending a Charger. I'm not recommending a Charger. There's no Charger I would recommend. I'm having questions about should I even play Austin Eckler.
Well, that's reasonable.
No, it's all reasonable. Do you play any Charger? My argument is becoming there is no startable Charger. Like, that's kind of where we're getting. There's no startable Charger. Like, don't play any Chargers. Just let it go.
Gerald Everett.
So, no. Nope.
No.
I would have to be really desperate. Super desperate. Like everyone else in the universe is hurt. I'd rather start Lance. I'm gonna get Lance out there.
I'll take it. I'll take it and roll with it.
But yeah, I've got it right now today as Flowers and Thielen because I know what to expect and I know what I'm getting, and I feel like I can quantify it for you. Check back on the weekend once we get some proper practice reports, and we'll answer that question a little bit differently, I bet. Because I think at the end of the day, you probably will start one of the Houston guys. At least I would, probably over Thielen. At least if you're me, but I couldn't tell you which one. So that's kind of my answer. Lance, what do you think here?
Zay Flowers is kind of the lock for me. You're playing him regardless, and
I wouldn't call him a lock. I would call it the outcome that I am least terrified of.
Because he's facing the 49ers, man.
I don't care about that. James Conner ate the 49ers lunch last week after you spent a week telling me how bad that was going to go, and he scored, and then he had 20 points. So I don't really want to hear about it as far as the 49ers defense. Like, not that afraid of it. Yes, they're a good defense. It doesn't mean that you can't play anyone against them.
No, and the Ravens have been almost, just as good this year. So I wouldn't totally downgrade him for that. But out of this group, yeah, I'd definitely go Flowers. I really want to say Palmer, but I would go with Collins. If Collins can't go with Brown. Because
all right, that's generally going to be the advice here. Then it sounds like so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unless you're Jason and you're going to tell people to play a Charger.
I have literally Palmer Flowers back to back at 29 to 30. So
Palmer, it's all coming down to can he get another 50-yard touchdown because the defense just stops playing defense because they're winning by 50 points, and I'm not convinced that's going to happen twice. So
that in volume.
Daniel, you do. I can't speak to whether or not you have a girlfriend, but I doubt it's Angela. I can't speak to that. All right.
The other Daniel, Eberhardt. Right. I guess something like that. All right.
That is his last name.
All right. I figured. I try and remember.
All right. We're building another lineup here. One running back, two wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex.
fine.
It's Gibbs at
Yep.
running back, and I don't even think it's close.
Nope.
Oh, good. We get to have this conversation finally. And then it gets interesting at wide receiver. I'm
Cooper
playing
Cup.
Pittman if he plays.
Yep.
And that was the whole conversation we were kind of having back and forth just a little bit in the Discord, which is don't assume Michael Pittman is not playing. He was limited yesterday, and then he practiced in full today. So there's a non-zero chance. If he can just practice in full tomorrow, I bet he's playing. And if he's playing, I'm playing him. He's the wide receiver 10 on the year in PPR. I don't see how you could justifiably sit him. For what? For Ayuk, who's been worse? Like, that's not even me being a dick. That's like mathematically has been worse. I am a dick, but I'm not being a dick about that. It's like,
to be fair, it's because Debo has shown up.
Whatever. I don't care what the underlying reasons are. Makes no difference. The underlying reasons are no longer relevant. We are picking literally for money at this point, and you can throw a lot of the reasons out the window for things like that. Like, it's just quantifiable math at this point. And Waddle is the same thing. The one that is attractive is Cooper, potentially. So you got three choices, and I have a feeling what I'll end up doing here. I would probably play Gibbs.
Yep.
You're praying Pittman plays. You're going to play Pittman. I'm going back to the well with Ayuk as my wide receiver 2, and then I'll flex Cooper. Order it how you want. I don't care. Okay, it's going to net to the same thing, man. And then you're picking because it's one wide receiver and one flex. Okay, well, I'm going to play it's one wide receiver, one flex. That's really weird, Daniel.
No.
2 wide receivers.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Two wide
Okay, good.
receiver,
Good.
One tight end,
That's
one
a
flex.
really weird lineup. Like Ayuk, Pittman, Cooper, you just play the top 3. Because Hill's coming back this week, more than likely. So you really don't want to deal with Waddle. Boy, what a fun week that was. And then right back to normal. And then at tight end, I'm going to play McBride. Because I genuinely don't see how you could sit McBride at this point.
PPR? Yep.
Yeah, really don't see how you could sit McBride in a PPR league. McBride's like a top 5 tight end. I know that doesn't mean anything. But that's like, it's kind of, they don't think it'd be like it is, but it do.
Top 8 on the year, actually.
And then, does anybody disagree with that? I think we'll be faster. Does anyone disagree with that lineup?
No.
Seconded.
Okay. PPR pick 3. Pittman's, Evans, Rice, Adams, Deontay, Jaden Reed. That's some good choices in there.
Yeah, they are.
Pittman and Evans, I feel like are locks, right? Pittman and Evans are locks, right?
Pittman and Rice are locks.
Ew. You're a Rice believer? Ew. Goodbye. That's so much better. So much more comfortable in here. I can breathe. All right. Maybe he's learned his lesson. Nope. My shame from screwing up the channels only runs so deep. Anyway, no, go ahead with the whole Rice stat. I'm sure you have one.
Well, it's just the fact that the Raiders don't allow the big play, which isn't what clearly Rice is good at. His average depth of target, I believe, is 5.2 yards. So that underneath play is going to be wide open for him, and he gets yards after catch as the second wide receiver, only behind Deebo Samuels with yards after catch. So I really like him, especially against the Raiders, who don't allow the deep ball, but will allow you to throw underneath all day. And can easily see that they aren't the best at tackling when it comes to open field, and Rice can easily exploit that.
All right. I still have Evans over Rice. So but what's interesting is I do have Rice higher than normal, but that's higher than normal for me. So what I would probably do here is Pittman, Evans, and then it gets interesting because my heart wants to put Jaden Reed on there, but I can't because he's too beat up, and it's just not good enough. And then Deontay is right out. Just throw that away, especially with Kenny Pickett already being ruled out officially today. That's done. So no, frankly, there's only like one Steeler, maybe 2 Steelers I would even consider playing.
The running backs.
It's the running backs. Yeah, and there's nobody else.
Pat Freiermuth.
No.
He torched.
Take it from a guy who's been rostering Pat Fryermuth and had to play him. You don't.
I know, but it's the same matchup that he went off against last time. 9 for 120 yards.
And I don't care, because that was a total fluke that came at the week they fired after they fired Matt Canada, and you're gonna have Mason Rudolph out there. Maybe Mason Rudolph will say something inappropriate again and get beat with a helmet for my entertainment. That's kind of what I'm looking for out of that game is Mason Rudolph to not learn his lesson from before. But no, I absolutely could not recommend Fryermuth. We might get into that later. Let's say it's been terrible. It's had one good game all year.
Yeah,
and I acknowledge it was against this team, but I'm not like you could not pay me to play Pat Fryermuth in a playoff game like that. I would have to have the options I would have to be so bad that I just don't know that I could do it. But that's not this question. For me, it's assuming Pittman is cleared. It's going to be Pittman's, Evans, and then it gets into what do I need? Because if I feel like I need floor, I go Adams here. But I feel like if I need ceiling, like real ceiling, like I need to get a little lucky, we'll play Rice and we'll roll it. And that's kind of going to be what it is. And obviously, if Pittman doesn't play for whatever reason and we're wrong, then it's pretty easy. It's Evan, Rice, Adams. So you've got a backup plan. It's just setting the original three. So are you taking the top three, Jason? Pittman, Evans, Rice.
Yeah, I mean it's close. I like Reed a lot, but again, like you've kind of touched on it. The injury really has me nervous. That's like the only thing that keeps him away from being ahead of Evans.
It's the carries. But yeah, it's a little scary. So you're going to go top three here. Pittman's, Evans, Rice. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'd say we're pretty close to consensus. And then Lance, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd go top three. I would do Rice over Adams. Last time he played the Raiders a couple weeks ago, he had 10 targets, over 100 yards, and a touchdown. Adams in that same game only got 7 targets, 70 yards. So it's not terrible, but I feel you're just getting more out of Rice right now, especially with what Travis Kelce and Mahomes are kind of working through with their whole connection right now. I definitely feel Rice gives you a lot more upside than Adams. So
I don't think it's a lot more upside, but I agree there is
a little bit more upside.
A little bit more, but it's Pittman's, Evans, Rice, and if Pittman can't play, then you play Adams and you roll it out there that way. Laporta or Ingram?
Laporta.
I am also playing Laporta.
Just because, again, I'm nervous on Lawrence not playing, and that just tanks.
That would be one of the reasons. That would be one of the main reasons. I'm not expecting Laporta to score 3 times again, or whatever that stupid number was.
Yeah, what was it? 5 receptions, 6 receptions?
Yeah, whatever that was. I'm not expecting that, but the Ingram thing has me a little scared this week. Let's see.
We're
just going to continue to build Daniel lineups. Hall, Cook, Mixon. Well, I mean, you're going to have to. I don't see how you could not play Cook after. I'm not expecting another huge day like that, but I really don't see how you could not
play Cook. That's all you need to know. Cook is playing the Chargers.
Oh, I thought you said you were playing a Charger, and I'm like squinting, like what Charger?
There's no Cook is playing the Chargers. So that it is very possible he does hit that number again.
I'm playing out of these two. I lean Cook and Mixon.
Oh,
I'm not going back to Breece Hall with a Mixon level option. I know Hall technically has a better matchup, but Mixon's matchup is not bad. The Steelers' run defense has not been good.
See Chase Brown from earlier.
So I'm really not worried. I'm really not worried about the Steelers' run defense. I am more worried about the Jets just going full cake in the rain again for no reason, because they're the Jets and they're terrible. And with whoever is going to be playing quarterback for them, I assume it's me. I'm just waiting to get my phone call. So and my plane ticket. But yeah, I got to lean Cook and Mixon. Do you guys disagree? You want to play Hall? I don't.
It's
He's principally why I got eliminated in a playoff game last Sunday. So
I
my
know you're
opinion on
salty
Hall
against
right
it, but
now is
it's such a good matchup, though.
I'm pretty salty. Like generally,
it's a real good matchup, though.
See, I'm pretty salty generally. Again, in this opinion, I'm Campbell soup level salty. Take a look at a can of Campbell soup if you don't get that joke, and look at the sodium number.
Soup.
Just look at.
It's not my thing, especially at a
I'm in the same boat, honestly.
Hey, buddy. Yeah. So while we get away from that one, we'll the wide receivers I'm looking at. It's definitely gonna be Jefferson, Amon-Ra. Then we have a flex. Since it's PPR, you're probably going to take Rice there too over Hall. But again, depends on what you need. If you're looking for upside, it's definitely going to be Rice. If you want the floor, it's Hall. But as Neil kind of said about the saltiness level, he did burn you last week. Jets could easily do that again. Bandicam to look fine. Or decent. Maybe not fine, but functional.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Deeply upsetting individual. I didn't agree with the soup thing. You totally ruined my joke. And now you're trying to praise Abanikanda in the minute that I'm gone. Now you go to the penalty box. Goodbye. So that's the end of that. I don't even know if I'm bringing it back, Lance. It might just be me and you, buddy. We're just gonna do making the cut here tonight. Today has not been our best show. We usually go off the rails. This never got on the rails.
Whose fault?
Show goes on.
No, look, that part of that is my fault. I already admitted that some of that is my fault. The beginning, the later part of it is not my fault because I work with a dancing bear.
People are entertained. That's all that matters.
Are they? Or is it like a car crash and you just can't look away? It's like horror. It's like shock value of what's happening in here tonight. I would say this is our worst show, but it'd be a lie. Okay. And so, yeah, you're picking 2 wide receivers and a flex. Would you not? You're just going to play all 3 wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. Okay. And then
we covered that while you were locked out.
You did the 2 RBs and the 2 flexes?
No, we just finished the first question.
Yeah. No, I heard that part of it. So okay. So 2 RBs and 2 flexes. Your 2 running backs. You're looking at Pacheco, Swift, Jones, Ford, Foreman. Pacheco feels like the one that you're definitely going to play. And then it gets
assuming he goes. Again,
well, I think that's looking pretty likely at this point. It's trending in the right direction. So I'd say
can always be
Pacheco is likely what you're going to wind up with, assuming he gets cleared, but I think he will. He's moving the right direction. Then it comes down to me. I couldn't play Ford again after what he did last week and the 8 carries and the split and the Flacco and just all of it. I just couldn't deal with that. Same thing with Foreman. Like when they're both when they're like that whole situation with the Bears is just not. Yeah. It's not great when they're all healthy. It was better when Foreman was out there by himself because then yes, absolutely Foreman. But when they're all playing, they all play and it gets really hard to deal and figure out. So you're really, I think, picking between Swift and Aaron Jones. And that's the kind of conversation that I would need a couple beers to come to consensus on because I roster both of those individuals and they're maddening. I lean Swift, by the way, of those 2, but I don't like my options. I don't like my choices. And in my rankings, I have Swift 1 spot ahead of Jones.
Yeah. I'm like, it really depends on if Dylan plays or not.
That would help if we had that level of clarity.
Yeah.
My answer to you right now is Pacheco and Swift. And then we go and we look at the rest of it. For flexes, you're looking at Watson, Palmer, Douglas, Chigakakwo. And of those,
you're gonna say it, aren't you?
What?
Palmer.
No, I'd play I'd probably play Douglas, and then for my other flex, I'd probably play Aaron Jones.
Dang it. I'm so close.
Yeah. I know what you were trying to bait me into. It's not my first day. And just for that, now Lance gets to go second.
Who are we talking about with Douglas? I'm sorry, that's just not really.
Demario Douglas.
Patriots wide
Oh,
receiver.
okay. Okay, yeah, that's right. I remember him getting hurt earlier. I'd honestly, I'd go Pacheco, Swift, Aaron Jones, and Ford. I just cannot really talk myself into any names once you get into Foreman. Watson, I don't think
Plays.
if
Watson's
he,
not playing.
yeah, so he's not going to play. Palmer, you got Easton Stick throwing him the ball. Douglas, it's the New England offense. Like
Douglas has
and
been good. I could give you the Douglas stat lines for the last 5-6 weeks. When he
When he's
plays,
healthy, yeah.
when he's healthy and he plays, it's attractive in a PPR league. Now in non-PPR, yeah, I agree. I don't care. But specifically in PPR, he picked up right where Kendrick Bourne left off. And I know everybody's like, Kendrick Bourne sucks. Kendrick Bourne was having a nice little season before he got hurt. And that's kind of the issue is Demario Douglas took over that job, and he's been pretty good. We've talked about that a lot this year.
Yeah, I just feel you're getting more volume out of, either Aaron Jones or Jerome Ford. I mean, I'm looking. You're getting okay out of Demario Douglas, but it's nothing I could probably talk myself out of a
Make
starting
sure you
running
flip it
back
to
for.
PPR if you're looking at that on Fantasy Pros, because I see people make that mistake a lot.
Yeah, I made that mistake last time. We went over that, but yeah, it's since his bye week, he had 9 targets, caught 6 of them, 49 yards. Then last week he had 5 targets, caught 3, 33 yards.
Yeah. That game was a little bit of an outlier, but he's been pretty like
Yeah.
I said, given my other relative options.
Mm-hmm.
If Josh Palmer doesn't catch a 50-yard touchdown, he's useless.
Yep.
Chris Watson's not playing. I'm not playing a Conquo.
No.
Off that list. There's no chance. So I don't necessarily disagree with playing the 3 running backs, by the way, or even the 4 running backs, if that was your inclination. But Ford terrifies me in a real way. And to Jason's point, I don't really love it. But if Dylan plays, Aaron Jones has burned you all year. He has done nothing but burn you. If you made the playoffs, it is in spite of Aaron Jones, not because of Aaron Jones. So I know he had a decent week last week. If I've made it that far, I already have options I like better, except maybe in this rare example that Daniel has provided here, where it is a bit of a guessing game. Swift is at least putting up double-digit points consistently. It's ugly as hell, but he's getting double-digit points consistently. It's not great.
He's about to have another touchdown stolen from him because it's Boston Scott week.
I know what you're talking about. I refuse to subscribe to that because it's heavily narrative-based. Super narrative-based. That's like the most narrative-y thing that's ever narrative. That sentence might as well have started with, "It was a dark and stormy night." Like that's the level of narrative that we're at there. Like, thank you for understanding that joke. I don't know how the Campbell soup joke doesn't land, but that one does. But okay. Yeah, we all agree no one wants to play Breece Hall. All right, we're back to Angela. All right, we got to try super hard for Angela because I would love to watch him. I would love to watch her beat Daniel. Not because I don't like Daniel, just because I think it would be really, really, really funny. Like really funny.
Ugh, it's probably Chandler.
Like George Carlin level funny. Like that's like way up there. Like yeah, but that's gonna be rough. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Chandler for sure.
Yeah.
Playing Chandler couldn't really talk me off that. Then it gets interesting.
Could be McKinnon.
I think it is McKinnon.
Touchdown scoring McKinnon during playoffs?
I think it is McKinnon. That's what's disgusting.
I think it is.
I think it might be McKinnon here. But McKinnon is beat up. And with Pacheco, I don't like it nearly as much. No, I don't know that I could do it with Pacheco playing. Oh, that's so bad. Where do I have Steve? I don't even think I have Stevenson ranked because of what I said before about how I don't think he plays. Yeah, no. Can't play Stevenson.
Nope.
Ford is literally the definition of playing with fire.
Eckler's the no.
I have Eckler over Ford. And if there was a Charger I was going to play, it would be Eckler. And I'll tell you why. They fired your bum of a coach finally. And I could see a scenario where this one week they go out to prove a point. And we've got a lot of sample on that of teams that the week after their coach gets fired, there is a significant uptick in their level of play. Even the Raiders, it happened to them, and then they went right back in the tank, and then they hammered your pathetic team.
Well, they also fired Jay Rodgers, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they fired all the people that were saying, we got to open it up and give people more carries. Burr, 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 burr. So I don't know that that's going to be the way that goes. This might be a very normal Austin Eckler volume game. My only concern really beyond that is what's going on in Eckler's mind. Does he care anymore? Or is he just checked out and he's done and he knows he's not coming back with the team next year and he's going to be playing elsewhere and he just doesn't give a crap and he's already done.
Or is he trying to play for a contract now?
And that's what's scary because that's why I'm saying it's hard to evaluate this because now you're asking me a question I can't possibly answer because I'm not Austin Eckler. I couldn't tell you what's in his head. I don't know is the real answer to that. That's why I have Eckler at 25 because it's like he's outside of RB2. But as you will see when we get to our lovely little game that we play, there's a real chance that could be the start of the week because the upside is top 5 running back if he's motivated. And they give him the noise right against the Bills to give him because he's playing for a contract.
Yeah.
And I think that would be good for him to go out there and hang a 30 on the Bills. Like that might be smart if you wanted to do that. So it's to me, the way I have it ranked is it would be Eckler and Chandler. That's how I have it. But I can tell you right now, my third choice would be McKinnon. And if Pacheco wasn't playing, it would be McKinnon full stop.
Yeah.
But it's the Pacheco thing that makes this hard. Angela, I'm sorry. You've had a couple questions that you have good teams, but they're just they're not galvanizing at the right critical moment. It's annoying. This has to be very frustrating to manage as a team.
Shouldn't surprise you. It is now the 2-minute warning.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. We've got a lot of questions here because we've screwed around. By the way, I have even more questions because people have started realizing the mistake and they've now piled in here to ask questions. But this is what happens when we set Daniel Ward's lineups for him in real time. There's about to need to be an email system between us and Daniel where we can just set his lineup before the show so that other people get a turn. That's kind of what is going to have to start happening here if we're just setting lineups because I would say we've been on the air here for over an hour and we've done 5 lineups for Daniel. Like that's kind of where we're getting. So love you, Daniel, but I don't know that we can continue to set full lineups, especially because see, like we're not even done. Like there's more Daniels. So it's like, but yeah. So how would you guys evaluate this just real quick?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not ideal. It's terrifying.
It's not ideal. Lance, could you bring yourself to play anybody that isn't Eckler or Chandler?
No.
Yeah, okay. All right. There you go. PPR pick 2. Waddle, Evans, Jefferson, Adams, Deontay Johnson, Addison.
Evans, Jefferson.
Yeah.
There's a level of thinking here that I'm not comfortable with, and it's Evans and Jefferson. This was not hard. This was not a hard question for me.
Well, it is just because I almost want to play both Vikings.
If I kick him out again, Lance, you think he'll just leave for the day? I've kicked him out a couple times already. I don't know if I could kick him out again and we'd still have him for the rest of the show. He might just leave. I wouldn't necessarily blame him either. This has been kind of a bleep show tonight. So that's all right. So it's all right. I've got Evans Jefferson. Lance has Evans Jefferson. We're waiting for Jason to make a final decision here.
Yeah, it's Evans and Jefferson, but man, it's close.
Okay. Need a QB.
Purdy.
Purdy, Mullins, Danny DeVito. Get my joke? You get my call back to last week that I don't think Lance will get?
Such a small
Because you
guy.
called him Danny DeVito and then didn't even notice it, and then I made a joke about it and you didn't notice that. And then by that point, I moved on.
Then he knows.
Wait,
people
I
in the
called him
comments
Danny
talking about-
DeVito?
Yeah, you called him
did.
Danny DeVito last week. And
No,
I
I
corrected
didn't.
you. Yes. And then I corrected you, and you
Why
didn't
not?
understand my correction. And then I just moved on.
I
I will
have to go
play
back
you the
and watch
tape
that
if
now.
you want to see
I
the
have
tape.
to go back. Yeah, I'm gonna go
I will
back.
play
and
you
watch
the
that.
tape if you want to see the tape. I'll timestamp it for you.
I remember you saying something, and I was like,
I
Wait,
made a
I'm
joke
not-
about how he
I'm
couldn't
not-
see over
I'm
the
not.
O line, and you just looked. You just looked into the camera like, "What is he on about?" And then I'm like, "We're moving on." So who do you guys like off this list? I think
Purdy.
it's Purdy. Yeah,
Pretty. Yeah.
Purdy. All right, easy.
Then
One running back, one wide receiver, one tight end, one flex.
Oh,
Barkley, Godwin, Njoku,
Njoku. Yep.
McBride.
Oh, you're going too.
I don't want to, but I have dug myself a lovely little hole with not being willing to play Palmer, and I'm committed to the bit. So, and then Douglas isn't high enough to outsource any of that other stuff. It's just Njoku and McBride have been really good, and I don't see that stopping. And it's PPR, so I'm kind of good with it. And Ridley is scary. Douglas has issues. Palmer's scary. Godwin himself is scary, but that's the one I like the most. And then the only alternative would be to play Swift, who I just got done saying it's like he'll get you 10 points, but it's ugly as hell. And I think it's more likely that Njoku or McBride will score. And not by a little bit, by the way, by a significant margin. Because the only way Swift is scoring is on like some sort of broken play.
Yeah, he hasn't scored since before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's because you know why? It's because every time they get in close, Jalen Hurts just runs it in.
He almost had it last week, though. He got to that.
He got
1 yard.
close. He got close. But that
The
is the
1
issue
yard.
with Swift. That is the issue with Swift. All right, so
Yeah, I'm agree. I guess it's close with Palmer and McBride, but
Yeah,
still
I'd
PPR.
go Barkley, Godwin. Yeah, it's close between Njoku and McBride. I'd go Njoku just because it seems like Joe Flacco is really going after him, and I'd probably go Swift as a flex,
okay.
even though there
I
is
couldn't
risk
necessarily
with
debate you
Hurts.
on that.
Yeah,
I like that tight end too much. So
All right. All right, Daniel. This is your last question, buddy. I'm rattled, Daniel. I'm rattled. Like I'm rattled tonight. I already made one hideous mistake, and I have yet to recover. I'm leaking confidence, and probably will be through at least the end of the day tomorrow. My ability to read will now be questioned by everyone, and rightfully so. One running back. Ew. Connor? Yeah, Connor.
over Eckler against the Bears.
Yeah. Yeah. I already did that. I'll give you the exact. Where do I have? Oh no. Hang on. I flipped that last minute. Sorry, I flipped it last minute. I have Eckler at 25 and Connor at 26. Originally I had it the other way.
Dang it.
But I moved Eckler ahead of Connor. So okay, Eckler by one spot. Gross. I hate this. How is this team not eliminated? I'm seriously asking. This is not a question. A semifinals playoff team.
Oh, it has to just be for not last place.
consolation
Maybe.
bracket.
Eckler, one wide receiver this time.
Addison.
Maybe. I have all three of those pretty close. I actually have to look. What do you think,
I'd
Lance?
go-
Who's your wide receiver?
I'd go Waddle.
Yeah, I have Waddle pretty high still. I know it's not a great matchup against Dallas, but they're going to have to throw. That's kind of my. I'm expecting that
Yeah.
game to get pretty high scoring.
Yeah, I mean Dallas. They've been good, but they can also let up big plays too.
It's not Lockett, is what I know definitively.
Mm-hmm.
And Addison is intriguing. Yeah, I have Addison even though I had to Lockett. So The answer to your question, the way I would do it, is Waddle if I need floor, Addison if I need ceiling. Because that game last week with Addison was such a freaking fluke. It was such an unbelievable fluke. There was like
Yeah,
3
that second
flukes that
touchdown
happened.
shouldn't have counted.
A lot of
And
that stuff was a fluke. He had over 100 yards and 2 scores on a play that he shouldn't even have caught the second ball. It's not even it was thrown horribly. And Addison just managed to make a really athletic play and a very heads-up move. I couldn't count on that every week. Waddle I feel better about, more consistent at least. But I agree, the ceiling for Addison is higher with Tyreek playing. So it depends on what I need. If I feel like I need ultimate ceiling play, then it's Addison. But if I just need points and something dependable, then I'd play Waddle. Who do you like at tight end?
You also get a flex, so I'm going to go Waddle there and just knock it out for you.
Oh, you do actually. You know what? That's easy. Then we'll just do that there. We'll do that that way. Simple. Simple. Because I would play either wide receiver in a PPR over Connor.
Yep.
Who's your tight end? I'm playing Goddard because I'm not playing Waller.
Yeah.
I'm playing Goddard if Smith's out.
Yeah, I'm not playing Waller, so I'll go Goddard.
All right. Tua or Kyler?
Tua. I'm not trusting Kyler, man.
Yep, agreed.
No.
Talk about fire.
Okay, and then rate these defenses. Ravens, Cowboys, Niners all have bad matchups. He is correct about that.
I'd go Niners number 1, probably Cowboys 2, Ravens 3.
Yep, that's how I have it.
That's also how I have it. So 49ers is your answer. They all have bad matchups. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate the patronage and questions as always. And now we get to this. Hi, Tamara. Greetings from the guy who runs the chat on the Sunday show, where you frequently ask Jason questions. That's me. I'm the one typing at you typically, and being belligerent to him. Now I just do it on camera on Thursday nights. You're not in the wrong place. I'm an idiot. So
yeah,
I'm an idiot. I'm in the wrong place. You're not in the wrong place. This show should not be happening on this bridge. But I was in a hurry and I did not read appropriately. So that is my fault. And I saw your question in here, but we had already started. So you are not in the wrong place. I am wrong. You are not wrong. So I actually owe you an apology officially. So I am sorry. So yeah, took Pittman out for Cup.
I mean, it makes sense because of the fact that we're not 100% the Pittman's playing. So it could be worse, but yeah, I probably, well, again, depends on who else you could have gone to, but I really want to play Pittman if he goes.
Yeah.
There goes Robinson again. Golly. So, yeah, I figured that was happening. It's like, well, that don't look great. Yeah, I'm a little nervous for you, Tamara. It's not ideal, but again, it would really depend on who your other option was. Like I said, I really want to play Pittman. That matchup was really juicy, and he was literally on fire going before he got a concussion. That dirty hit, he was about to just probably be the wide receiver 1.
The problem with all of this is I wasn't necessarily going to be looking for other options. I'm assuming that these are my 2 best choices. You know what I mean? Because they're pretty, given how drafts were working, that's probably accurate. And that's all we have to work with. But no, I don't know that I would have actually said sit Cup, get Cup out to sit it down. What's Cup at?
5.8.
What's the score?
17-7.
Rams
are winning, I assume.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great. The problem with this whole situation is that you would have had to make this decision tonight. And given that, there's just, it's looking like Pittman's going to play. But what's your backup plan if he's not going to play?
Yeah.
that's where the rubber meets the road here. That's the conversation I would have had with you is, okay, so that's why I think Jason's talking about what's my other options, because you got to have a backup plan in place if you're going to sit Cup and Pittman suddenly can't go. Like if he doesn't get cleared, you're really stuck at that point. And it's like, okay, maybe Josh Downs would have been fine. I don't know, but I don't know what's available. But I agree with the general point. I probably would have preferred Pittman to Cup, but I had Cup as a top 10 play. And I think and that's not me, by the way. That's like most outlets had Cup pretty high because I think people went right back to,
he
he
had
had a good game. He's back and he's healthy. Yeah. So I had him as a top 10 play. So it's one of those deals. I don't know that he's going to screw you. We'll see how the second half goes. But hopefully it won't matter. But yeah, it does look like Pittman is trending to playing. So talk to us on Sunday. We'll go through the rest of your lineup and see if we can find somebody else to slip out so we can slip Pittman in, assuming he gets cleared. Because I agree with Jason's general supposition there, which is if Pittman's playing, he'd be a top 10 play, similar to Cup. All right. Kittle or McBride?
McBride.
Yeah, McBride.
Yeah, McBride.
All right. Garrett Walker or what? Oh, wait.
Nope.
Okay, that question is either Garrett Wilson, Ken Walker, or Singletary, or it's a spelling mistake.
I don't know.
Either way, the answer is Garrett Wilson. It actually doesn't matter.
Is it Kenneth Walker?
Okay, then the answer is Kenneth Walker, if that's the way that the question is meant to be written.
Yeah. Okay. Like either way.
The answer
yeah,
is not Singletary. The answer is whatever is not Singletary. That's the answer. Is not Singletary. So there we go. Who to drop from Daniel's team? That's not really a question.
Shots fired. We need a moderator in the chat. We need a moderator.
I don't know if this is directed at me or if this is like this is so old that I don't know who that's directed at. Yeah, hard turn down Narrative Street is definitely there.
The new name for next year.
That's what I've been saying this show should be called, is Narrative Street. I've been saying that for over a year. All right. Here we go. Who would drop? Higbee. And yes. Higbee, yes, and I would spend a buttload of fab.
Yep.
If it was a fab. I'd spend it all.
At this point,
blow the wad. Whatever you have. Maybe keep like $1 in case you needed to make an emergency claim or something.
It's semis. Like if I want Chandler.
You might need to make an emergency claim for the championships. You might want to hold back like $1 or $2 just so you can do something, so you're not totally locked off the system.
Fair, yes.
What if somebody gets hurt and you have to go do something last second? You know what I mean? Like that does happen. So I might save $1 or $2, but beyond that, I'd spend it all. And yes, that is absolutely worth it. Jets or Broncos?
At least you made it to the right one, Anthony. Broncos.
I think I have it as Broncos as well.
They're pretty close. They both have really good matchups.
Broncos.
Yeah, I'd go Broncos too.
All right, Broncos. Yep, that's a good instinct. Don't do that. Right back in and tell us who the 10-minute misconduct is on. It could have been on me or Jason in this show. Lance is the only one who has not committed a 10-minute misconduct penalty.
Yep.
So far.
Tucker Kraft or Schultz?
Kraft, baby. Get some cheese.
Yeah, I'd go Kraft as well.
Come on, Neil. You know you want some Gouda.
I don't. I'm going to play Schultz. I don't know anything about anything. Yeah. Chris gets it. Chris understands my little bit of frustration here tonight. Like, because Daniel, you have Discord access. In the future, just post that crap to the Discord, and we'll build it for you in advance.
Unless it's really slow, then it's completely fine.
Because then we can get Mike Berlin to do it too.
Yeah, that's
that would also probably help. Pick 2. Zeke Jacobs, Singletary. No.
Keep going. Keep going. Into that list.
I'm not gonna read all this. Zeke and Waddle. That's what I'm playing.
Waddle and Addison.
Sure.
Adams and Addison. Or Adams and Waddle.
Oh, okay. Adams and Waddle. All right. This was not helpful.
Yeah, completely useless.
Kenneth Walker or Ayuk in PPR. It's PPR, so I'm playing Ayuk. I go back to the well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to, because we also weren't 100% on Walker. So going with the guy fully healthy. Allegedly. He's trying to.
Actually. It's yeah. Nothing concrete though.
I'll double check though.
He's off the injury report, I think. Well, because he came back. He played last week, but he clearly wasn't right. So they don't have him listed on the injury report, but he only played 19% of the snaps last week. He's not healthy. So he might play, but is he going to be healthy? Hopefully this picks up in the second half for you, and I apologize for the mix-up on the rooms. Browning or Mullins?
Mullins.
I go Browning.
I'm going to be by myself on the island.
No, I have it as Mullins, and it's not because I think Mullins is a better player. It's because Mullins' matchup is a lot better, and his team is healthier, which is weird to say about the Vikings this season, but it's true. And I don't care if you have to drop Browning because Browning has no long-term value. I think Stroud might play next week because they're going to, especially if they win, because they're going to be trying to clinch a playoff spot.
Yeah,
so I would not drop Stroud. I would not drop Stroud.
Nope.
I don't trust Fields any week. Ever.
I still prefer Mullins over Fields.
What do I even have Fields ranked? It's not good.
I mean, it's a great matchup, though. That's what's
it's a
really,
great matchup.
It's really juicy.
You're asking me, it's not the question you're asking me. The question I'm being asked is, do I trust it? No. Would I play him? Probably have to.
I guess.
Because it's a great matchup. I'm trying to go faster through these guys because we still have to play our lovely little game yet. And that game's going to happen at warp speed tonight. Because look, Lance is falling asleep in his chair with his little hoodie. It's all bundled up. It's funny how the world changes because back in my day, you would have been laughed at for wearing a champion hoodie, and now I'm aware. Like they'd have called you poor, and now I'm aware that's like a fashion symbol. The world has done changed, man. Like I remember when those were being sold at Kohl's and they couldn't give them away.
It's comfy.
And now that's probably
really
like,
all I care about.
Probably like $100. Mullins,
Closer
Browning. Okay. Mullins, Browning, Geno, Mayfield. I'm wearing a shirt that makes people want to buy me another shirt. Okay. Like, I got this at an ace race, like a disc golf ace race. It's a whole thing. Mullins, Browning, Geno, Mayfield, Minshew. Pick one.
Mayfield.
Yeah, I go Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield. Double checking. Mayfield. Yep. Good. Moving on. Tua.
Tough. It's probably Tua.
Tua and Geno. Pittman plays Tua, Minshew.
I think she says already playing Carr. So it has
to be. I see. Pick 2 already playing Carr. I get it. There's not I got the comma in the wrong place.
Yep.
Yeah. Tua, Geno, if Pittman's playing Tua, Minshew.
Agree.
Yeah, I go Tua, Minshew.
All right. Schultz, Kraft. Wait.
Yep,
It says
that's right.
pick 3,
Hudson.
but there's only 3.
Yeah, pick
It
2
says
though.
pick 3.
Just assume it's 2. Maybe she probably just hit the wrong one. That's normally if it's a number that's close. It's gonna be Schultz and Kraft.
Yeah, Schultz and Kraft.
I'd go McLaurin and London.
No.
Nope.
You're doing that wrong.
Too
Above
far.
that, before that, the 3 tight ends that are listed: Schultz, Kraft, Hudson. Pick 2 of them.
Oh yeah, Schultz and Kraft.
Okay. And then you've got McLaurin, Ridley, London. Yeah, McLaurin and London. I don't want to play Ridley. My answer might change to that on Sunday, depending on who's playing quarterback for Jacksonville.
Trevor's playing. It's Ridley in London. If he is not playing, it's McLaurin London.
It's always here. We do this every Thursday, and you've already found the Sunday show. So this is every Thursday. Next season it might be on Wednesdays, and we have a different idea for Thursday content.
Spoiler.
Potentially. They can know. Half these people are patrons. Well, members, because we're not really a Patreon customer anymore. But DJ Moore is a good one.
Oh,
I would
much
probably
prefer
rather
Moore.
play DJ Moore over some of this. Like,
yeah,
DJ Moore's been a top 10 wide receiver in PPR.
It's gonna be Moore and
probably would have been
London.
Moore and Pitt. Probably would have been Moore and Pitt. Oh no, wait, I see. That's where I'm getting confused because she's.
Yep. I'm assuming that's for the last question. So
might be still play Pittman in place. Ooh,
not over Diggs. Nope.
Mostert's been too good.
Yeah,
Mostert's a league winner. I couldn't sit Mostert.
Man, it's tough.
You've got a good team.
Yeah. No wonder he's here.
That team is stacked.
Good job. Congratulations.
Yeah, no wonder you're in the semifinals. That team is nuts. I know people who would kill for that team. Yeah. Which Robinson?
Left Robinson. Oh, DeMarcus.
The one who just scored. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like 6 for 81 and a touchdown now.
Oh,
nuts.
Lovely DeMarcus Robinson. Freaking fantasy zombie DeMarcus Robinson. It's not even fantasy. It's like, it doesn't even qualify. It's not even enough of a sample. It's ridiculous.
2 games. 3 games.
Well, it's like you're going to not play that over the following list of names. Top 10 wide receiver, top 10 wide receiver, top 15 wide receiver, top 20 wide receiver to play DeMarcus Robinson. I hate to tell you, man, I would never in any universe have played DeMarcus Robinson over any of the stuff you have. Like,
yeah, I know.
Not a playoff game. Because what happens if DeMarcus Robinson puts up a 2? I'd want to blow my brains out. I would literally be like, I would be on suicide watch. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror after that. I'd be ugly crying and shaving what's left of my hair. I'd look like Sinead O'Connor. And not 90s Sinead O'Connor. I mean current Sinead O'Connor. Yeah, that's right. I went there. It was that dark. 10-minute misconduct.
Okay.
Jets or Bills? Jets.
Man, it's tough.
Jets.
Jets. Jets. Against Washington? Jets.
Bills against Easton Pick?
I understand they're playing against your crappy team.
And they just destroyed the Cowboys? Man, that's terrifying.
I still go Jets.
Yeah, I think I have Jets higher, but God, that's good choices. Congrats.
Connor, Chandler, Warren, Williams. 2.
Chandler, Warren. Going back
Chandler
to it.
for sure.
I can't get away from Warren, man. I know he burnt you last week, but
he didn't really burn you. He put up 10 points. That's what he's been doing. That's his new normal over the last 5 weeks. It's really annoying, actually.
I'd go Chandler, and I want to go Williams here.
Ooh, spicy.
That's funny because now we're going to do the thing that's completely unhelpful because I'm playing Connor.
Knew that was coming.
Totally unhelpful. So we're playing
Chandler.
Chandler. Chandler is the answer. And then we all have different opinions on who your other running back should be. This was not helpful. Well, we got Chandler at least. We got Houston,
There.
Chicago, Cincy. Ooh, these are real defense questions.
Bears.
I'd probably
As much
go
as it makes me feel
Cincinnati.
dirty, as much as it makes me feel absolutely filthy, it's Chicago. That sentence makes me need a beer. Oh God.
Da Bears.
Sweet, great Koogly Moogly. Okay. For you, because we screwed up. Well, I screwed up, and they're along for the ride. We'll do a Daniel on Sunday, and we'll just set your lineup for you. And just try to be on early if at all possible. That will help. But we'll set the lineup real quick.
I'll be here. You're all good.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yeah. Okay. So Cup is on the bench. Okay, I feel a little less bad.
Yeah, that makes me feel better. I was like, please say we got there in time. Bring a couple of your waiver wire options, though.
That's fine. That's fine. We can finish the game, but the season's going to end a little early. That's fine. That's definitely a major misconduct. This has been a banner week for this show that I am theoretically in charge of. Etienne or Zeke?
Zeke. We don't know about Trevor Lawrence, man.
That actually makes me want to play Etienne more.
Yeah.
Because they ain't gonna let Beathard throw it. So like that's kind of that deal. Connor and Aaron Jones are available to pick up. I can tell you that I would not worry about that.
Yeah.
I would. I'll put it this way. I would personally play Etienne. If you wanted to play Zeke because you're scared because of Jacksonville, fine, play Zeke. I don't know that it's going to be that big of a difference.
Oh, it's standard.
It's my team. I'm rolling Etienne out there. Could drop Brian Robinson or Stroud if needed. I don't think you need to pick up an RB. I think you're picking between the ones you already have. Higbee is locked. Okay. Pittman or St. Brown? St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me again on Sunday morning.
Yep. Agreed.
Can I be cut now? Can you just... I mean, he's got the accesses. He could just yank me off the air, like with the vaudeville hook. That'd be fine. Broncos or Bills?
Broncos.
Broncos, yeah.
Yep. All right. Ayuk or Diggs?
Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs.
Walker. H.N. or Walker?
Yep.
It was 2. Not 3 for the tight ends.
It's like I've done this before.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. DJ Moore was on the Cup team. Moore, Cup, Pittman, Diggs. Stacked.
Ugh. It's probably Pittman and Diggs, but
It is Pittman and Diggs. It's really annoying. But you don't have a backup plan.
More?
Well, I guess, yeah, you would have more on Sunday, which would still be available. Yeah, it's Pittman and Diggs. Yeah, it's Pittman and Diggs, and you pivot some more. God damn. Well, she got there. She got there.
Yeah.
She didn't need our help.
She's got this.
She got there anyway. Cup's on the bench. He's still picking between Moore, Pittman, and Diggs. We're recommending Pittman and Diggs, and then Moore's the backup plan. See, we got at least one thing right. Look, I apologized already. I don't know how many more apologies I can give and still mean them. I like that's where we're getting. Okay. Standard Pittman, Zeke, Collins.
I mean, it's Pittman if he goes, unless you're probably, then Collins if he goes.
Now we got Jason thinking.
Then you go to Zeke.
I got Jason thinking because he wants to tell you to play Nico Collins because he's been defaulting to that all year. And to this point, it's actually been paying off for him. I would argue that Nico Collins is Jason's single best call of the entire year is Jason's Nico Collins ranking. I don't know why, by the way. Houston Texans wide receiver is the thing you consistently get right, and like not other stuff. But Lance, sorry, you weren't here for
tight
this.
ends. I'm usually pretty good with the tight ends.
For whatever reason, over the years, Jason is really good at evaluating Houston Texans wide receiver specifically. And I don't know why. Because he called the Brandon Cooks thing when everyone made fun of him. He called the Brandon Cooks thing and he was universally mocked. Not just by us, but by everyone. And he was just mocked mercilessly. And then Brandon Cooks went out and had a huge year. And everybody's like, all right, well, apparently I'm wrong. And he's right. And I got to give it to him. And he did it again this year. And everybody's like, you don't learn, do you? You're just going to keep doubling down on this. And he keeps being right. And I don't know why. It's weird. It's a weird thing, man. I don't get it. Like, don't understand it. And yes, tight end like McBride. Like he gets that right too. I don't know what it is. Other stuff, no. But like Texans wide receivers and tight ends. Whoop. Man, he's great at it. But it's for me, it's Pittman, and then if Pittman's not playing, it's Zeke because I'm actually more convinced that Pittman plays than Collins.
That's fair.
All right. It's been a bad day, Polo. We're not collectively. I'm having the worst night of the bunch, and collectively, it's not been a good night here. Like, it's not been good.
It's all the audit's fault, man. My brain is fried.
He's got an audit going on at work. I'm just an idiot. I have no excuse other than that. Like, it's just there's indefensible. But yeah, that's the other big update is Kyron Williams is now out. So that's fun. Okay, and then Fields or one of the field. Get it?
One of the field.
You get it?
Yeah.
I'm about to see myself out. For me, I'd have to play Fields over any of those.
Yeah, I would too.
As gross as that is.
Nope, playing Mayfield.
Yeah, I know you're gonna play Mayfield. All right, crisis averted.
Woo. I still need 2 touchdowns, baby. Let's go.
And I misspoke. We're not useless after all. Cup's in the lineup. We'll have to figure out a plan on Sunday. No, it can't.
It's
this is
real.
Your first time being here. Trust me. It's as bad as this has been. It's gone way worse. Trust me on this. We've been doing this show for like 4 years now. This is like the 4th year of this show. Trust me. Trust me when I tell you there have been worse nights than this. Those are also some of our greatest moments, though. Like when I have to send myself to the penalty box for not being able to pronounce names. Like when I have to send Jason to the.
All of my days.
Don't listen to me. Take it from Polo, who's been here from the beginning and is a regular. He's here every week, despite the fact that his therapist just told him not to come back.
Well, he has to come back because his wife always hosts the book parties or the.
I don't think that's every week, but I do think that's a reason.
What is it? Book club.
Book club.
Like, well, it's not a book party. That's just. I mean, that'd be kind of awesome, but.
Yeah, this is only marginally worse than normal. It is worse than normal. Yes, the Phillip Rivers punch card at the hospital is objectively hilarious, and him calling out the snap count for his wife. That is a high, but that's the high watermarks of this show. Phillip Rivers, Lance wasn't here for any of that. Phillip Rivers has had so many kids, he gets a punch card at the hospital. Have 10, get 1 free. And then there was the question.
What side of the curtain?
You literally corrected me on how to pronounce your name before, and I still get it wrong, and I feel bad.
Well, it's like she said it was like camera, so it
is like camera. It's Tamara like camera, and I still, dude, what do you want from me? I literally couldn't read the room on the lobby we were supposed to be in an hour ago. Like, what do you want from me?
I totally forgot about.
They haven't discussed a book in 6 weeks. That sounds right.
But I've lost like 10 bottles of wine.
Yeah, right. And the karaoke machine in the house has gotten a ton of work out. Like that thing is paying for itself. But yeah, the other Philip Rivers joke is we think he calls out the snap count for his wife at this point while she's giving birth. Like he's on the other side of the shield, like calling out the cadence, catch the baby, spike it. I'm too sore today to do the prop comedy that normally comes with that.
Oh yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
folks.
that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen. But why's the rum gone? Giant pile of bottles in the recycling. Joke's on you, Daniel. We're trying to get you to lose, buddy. We think it's funny. We're terrible people. I'll speak for myself. I think it's funny, and I'm a terrible person. I don't speak for them. Drop London to get Addison, I think, is this question.
Sure.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing for me. Like it's kind of like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I have no real opinion on that. I can tell you that I have Addison.
I was like O'Connell, Arthur Smith.
I have Addison 2 spots ahead of London this week. So that's my answer to you. Yeah. If you think that's going to make a huge difference, go nuts. And with that, that is all the questions. Lot of questions. Probably would have been easier had we actually been in the right place. Gonna be mad about that. I'm gonna be mad at myself about that legitimately for like
till Sunday.
Half the off season. I will remember this until like March. I will remember this, and then at some point, Jason's gonna remind me of it when we sit down to do this next season, and I'm gonna be mad about it again. I don't make mistakes like this typically, and my attention to detail usually is a lot better, and it's really annoying me that I didn't freaking read. So I go back to this. Offsetting misconduct penalties. I go back to this. So we'll do offsetting misconducts. We'll finish this show. And then Lance, next week for championship week, it's just you, bud.
You got
All
this.
right.
You got it. You got this by yourself.
He's wearing the hoodie already, so might as well.
Yeah, he's all set. He's got it. All right. And with that, we're going to play this game, and we're going to try and go through it a little bit quicker than normal. So, because we want to let people go and enjoy their night. I am going to go faster. You do what you want. So for those of you who play at home, and this is actually probably more for Lance's benefit, but we have some new people in the audience. We're going to do start sit of the week. We're going to start with quarterback. Start of the week is somebody that is outside the top 12 in quarterback that you think could finish in the top 12 and why. So Jason, who's your QB start of the week?
I think you guys might know. It's Nick Mullins versus the Lions. He takes on Detroit. Since week 9, the only quarterback to not get over 20 fantasy points is Derek Carr.
All right, then. It's hard to argue with that because
you like that.
It's objectively a fact. I can't argue with things that are objective facts.
And he also, has somebody named Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison, Ty Chandler. I mean, they're all looking pretty strong right now. Their defense is stepping up, and hopefully this could actually be I think it's actually one of the higher over-unders of the week as well.
For me, it's Joe Flacco, and I feel gross about it, but it's just objectively facts at this point. He looked terrible for most of that game last week, and it didn't matter because he still paid you off at the end. And now he gets the Houston secondary, which hasn't been able to stop anybody. And Amari Cooper is healthy. And it's just working.
Almost 400 yards last week.
It's just working. And what's annoying is, why is Joe Flacco better now in his 40s than he was in his 20s? I don't understand it. As somebody who's pushing 40, it's making me feel good about myself a little bit in a weird way. But
I could maybe play quarterback.
No, it's just maybe I won't. Maybe my legs won't hurt. like just in general. Like maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll all be okay.
I won't go to sleep in my back. Wake up with my back hurting.
No, if I really wanted to be that guy, I would make my joke I've been making to my friends personally, which is, boy, I sure hope I go through puberty again at 45 like Tiger Woods. I would absolutely love to go through puberty again at 45. That sounds great. Have you seen Tiger Woods recently? Yeah. I hit the gym. Sure you did. Just like how Peyton Manning had them neck cramps. Yeah, it's absolutely. No, that's fine. You do you, buddy. Yeah, I would absolutely love to go through puberty for the second time at 45 and get all that muscle mass back. That sounds great.
Maybe you paid for a really good dietitian and
at least Polo gets it. At least Polo.
Started working.
Yeah, it's a
out.
dietitian. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like Tom Brady's doctor that wasn't a doctor.
Aaron Rodgers.
Guerrero. Yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, it's. I would absolutely love to go through puberty again at 45. That sounds fantastic. That's great. Anyway, Lance, who's your start of the week?
Jake Browning for me. And
Ooh, I like it.
3 of the 5 games he's played, he's finished inside the top 10. He maybe isn't running as much anymore, but he's completing a high percentage of his passes every single game. Every single game he started, he's thrown for over 200 yards. And Pittsburgh secondary is kind of beat up and suspended right now, so should have an opportunity for a decent game by that alone.
Pretty hard to argue with any of that. I mean, it's pretty hard to argue with anything he just said. So we're just gonna move it along, and we're gonna go to sit of the week. Jason, who's your sit of the week?
Back to the well. Lamar Jackson versus the 49ers. Since week 9, only one player has scored over 15 fantasy points against him, Jalen Hurts. And he needed a rushing touchdown, 20 rushing yards, and 298 passing yards. I don't think that Jackson can do that. I don't think he's as good as a passer as Hurts is. So, also not the same weapons.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Angela. And if you crush Dan,
I'm excited to hear about it.
If you crush Dan, come back and tell us, because it'll bother him. Like, if you want to bother your boyfriend, that's how you do it. That'll do it. Like, he'll put on a brave face, but inside he'll be dead inside. That's 100% dead inside is the answer to that. My sit of the week, you actually touched on it earlier in the show. It's Kyler Murray. Not real happy with the whole Kyler Murray matchup against the Bears. It's one of those things that looks better on paper than it actually is in real life. The Bears have actually been playing better defensively over the last 5 weeks. And Kyler has not. He came roaring out of the gate and has kind of started to dip off a little bit in the background. If you're playing Kyler, you are banking on some rushing touchdowns. And if you don't get them, you are going to have a bad time. So I would really rather look for other options, because Kyler only comes in at QB 11 anyway. So there are other things that I would rather deal with that I have rated higher than Kyler. You'd have to. I have Kyler in my personal rankings closer to like 15.
I'd rather you not sweat it. No.
Lance, who's your QB sit of the week?
I'm gonna go with Dak Prescott here. The 3 games that Dak's finished outside of the top 20 for quarterbacks have been away games. When he's on the road, he's a different quarterback. So going to Miami, I don't think he's going to have a terrible game, but I don't see him as having the same upside he usually has week to week. So
yeah, I get that. It's one of those things that's like, it's not really actionable advice, but it is something that I would say is something to keep in mind. Like, temper your expectations for Dak a little bit potentially in this game. Could happen. All right, we'll go to running back, and for the audience and for Lance as a reminder, start of the week is outside the top 24 at running back. And Jason, who's your running back start of the week?
Devil Singletary versus the Browns. Man, I know it's terrifying. I know, but he continues to see the work. Outside of the 1 week that they decided to let Dameon Pierce try, he is dominating. He's also getting used in the passing game. I'm just, even with a backup quarterback, the Case Keenum is checking it down to him. I'm perfectly fine playing Singletary.
All right, Lance, who's your who's your running back start of the week?
I'm gonna go Austin Eckler. again. I think we touched on it
should have
earlier.
just gone. Why did I throw to you? I already said I was going to do this earlier, and now I have to go back to the thing. Go ahead. Just
Yeah, I
just
think
sit
he's
here.
just like he saw with the Raiders when they started featuring Jacobs and Adams after McDaniels got fired. I think they're just going to be peppering Eckler with targets. So
I hope so, because I probably have to play him. I hope you're right. I'm scared. You know what, Liz? Like, I'm not happy about this.
It is time for Mr. Hankey.
Just a little bit. My options would be let's assume Michael Pittman plays. If Michael Pittman plays, I'm making a decision, straight choice, between Austin Eckler and Terry McLaurin. I don't like my choices. I guess I could play Downs and Pittman, but I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do it. And I would normally have Brian Robinson available, but he's probably not playing. Speaking of Brian Robinson not playing, my start of the week is Antonio Gibson, and it's not complicated. It's because anytime Brian Robinson doesn't play, Antonio Gibson is worth starting. It's literally that simple. When he gets the whole job, because Chris Rodriguez, let me be clear about something. Chris Rodriguez, not good at football. Maybe we'll learn how to be good at it someday, but not
Keep
today.
giving him touches, though, man. It's annoying.
He had 10 carries last week, did nothing with it. He had 10 carries, no targets, averaged 3.5 yards per carry. So for those of you who maybe aren't math majors, he had 10 carries and had 35 total yards. And no activity in the passing game at all. That's garbage. That's garbage. So Gibson is going to be the choice if Robinson cannot play, because Gibson will get enough actual traditional running work, but that's not what you care about. He's going to get 8 targets, something like
Hopefully.
that. Like, that's what you're hoping for.
Yep.
He catches 5 of them, plus gets some running. Maybe he falls in the end zone. So no, Gibson is a guy that is like deep into RB flex territory that I would rather play over like Ford, Spears, Singletary, potentially. Like it's things like that. All right, there you go. Speaking of running backs,
There's
Kyron
one.
Williams. For all of you who had your Kyron Williams anytime touchdown, you got there. You got where you needed to go. That game's got to be almost over. I don't mean time-wise. I mean score-wise.
27-7.
Yeah. So that game's wrapping up. that game's winding down. Sit of the week. Jason.
Shouldn't be surprising. It's Devon A-Chain again versus the Cowboys. Again, we saw it last week. He needs a big play or a lot of volume to score, and that's not happening. He got some usage in the passing game, which helped. But again, in a game that they should be able to do whatever they want and seeing how effective Mostert is, rather just wait and see, have A-Chain get better, and move on from there. Terrified.
Go ahead, Lance. Take my pick again. Let's go. Cue it up. I know he's going to do it.
Well, you have to look at the list first.
I have someone on the list that I could mention. I just want to take this time, though, to say Bijan Robinson is my answer based purely off of what he did to one of my fantasy teams and what Arthur Smith has done to many people's fantasy teams. So, yeah, Bijan Robinson kicked some people out of the playoffs last week. And the highlight you saw of that game was him lead blocking for Cordero Patterson's touchdown. So, thanks, Arthur Smith, and don't start Bijan.
Remember when at the beginning of the year when we were doing 32 teams and 32 games, Jason, and I said that Arthur Smith was on the hot seat, and now that they're probably going to miss the playoffs, that they've said they're going to let him coach 3 games and then make their decisions from there. Because that's totally what they say to people that are not on the hot seat. Is that your job comes down to your next 3 weeks of performance? Totally not on the hot seat. Lance, for context, I got a lot of crap from people on Twitter and in the comments about my Falcons opinions, about how they're not a playoff team and Arthur Smith is a clown and the defense is bad and Desmond Ridder is terrible. and that team should not. And then I've been right all year, by the way. And then they started winning a couple games, and it scared me a little. And then they went right back into tank for me, and I'm like, perfect, good job, Falcons, thank you. Falcons gonna Falcon. Falcons gonna Falcon. I think Arthur Smith hates life, or life hates Arthur Smith. I'm not sure which one. There you go. Can't confirm. I think he hates fashion sense, and that's coming from me. Like that's. So yeah, it's. I was all out on Atlanta, and I've never been happier to not roster in any league Bijan, any of the running backs, any of the wide receivers or tight ends. I have none. I have no Falcons because I just didn't want any of it in any league. Never been happier with that decision, because watching people who do roster Atlanta players, it looks like it's been miserable, just miserable the whole time. My sit of the week, and this is one of those things that I don't know that it's going to necessarily matter, but it's actually going to be Saquon Barkley. He played 50% of the snaps last week. He had 11 touches for 37 yards. So you want to say that this might be a bounce back game, right? Here's the problem. Across the last 9 games, he's averaged 21 touches, 94.2 yards. He is the RB9 in fantasy. Second in opportunity share. Eagles defense looks suspect, but this is the problem. You can say all the nice, happy, fun stats about how it's been good and it should continue to be good, but the problem is that when so far this year, when you need it, when you really need to count on it, they go away from him, and I don't know why. And I'm anticipating them losing by 1 billion. So if you're going to play Saquon, it's not going to be. You're desperately hoping he's catching dump offs the whole day. And that really hasn't been how they've been doing it. So you probably don't have better options. You probably have to play Saquon. But I'm not expecting a huge world-beating number. And I don't know how anybody could be after last week. Second choice would be Breece Hall. See the entire show up to this point. And I'm not bitter at all, by the way. I'm not bitter at all about the Breece Hall thing. Not at all. Not in any way. Like how you're not bitter about Bijan over there. Not bitter at all. No, 100% not.
Nope.
Wide receiver. Before we do that, I have a question for the room. What fantasy players will you never draft again, and why are they all on the Chargers?
You're still your worst call, Keenan Allen.
Oh, I don't care. I just saw that. I just saw that on Twitter earlier, and it made me think of you, and I filed it away. And at some point, I was going to work it into the show. So I just knew that I was going to work it into the show, and we're going to be done here in a second. So I just shot my shot. That's it just made me laugh.
No, my favorite was they listed Allen is out due to herbitis, as in Herbert isn't playing, so neither am I.
You're right. My heel hurts. Okay. Wide receiver start of the week, Jason. For the audience at home, this is outside top 36. They could finish inside top 36.
So it's kind of a shift. It's going to be Dontavian Wicks.
Oh my!
Assuming that Reed is out, if he does play, it's going to be Reed. Yeah. So because I really think versus the Panthers, whoever is the wide receiver 1 is going to be fine. Like, I'm not worried about it at all. Both of them have been seeing good targets when they're both playing. Reed gets a bump because he's also been seeing running back carries. And I really just think this is a good opportunity for either of them. Chief, man.
I just want to point out that that's hilarious, because for those who know, you immediately know. But for those who don't know, they're like, who's Jeremy Maclin? Who's Jeremy Maclin? A name that has not been relevant in a very long time. That is an amazing callback. That hatred runs deep. That's baked in the bone at this point. That's like some Hatfields and McCoy shit. That's like generational. There are people that will have to Google it.
Well, wait. Is he talking about Chief or is he talking about Eagle?
I was going to say, like, this valley runs deep, sir. Like, that is. Yes, literally and figuratively. Yeah, I know a lot of people that know this pain,
Oh, Herbert, Eckler, and Allen.
possibly,
That would be
or
the.
Everett would also potentially.
There you
Eagles,
go.
Macklin. Yep,
They're two different ones, so I figured I'd ask.
yep.
Both equally hated, but yeah.
Both hated. I was gonna say no winner in that though. All right, Jason, did you actually do start of the week, or did I just
Yeah.
sideswipe you and then we walk
It
away?
was the
Oh,
Packers
that's right.
wide
It
receiver
was
one.
Wicks, and I was like, oh my god, that's an incredible. You went deep into the well for that. I have two, and I'm gonna do them quickly. One is contingent upon something else happening. If Michael Pittman is not playing, Josh Downs. Just not complicated. It's not even a lot of analysis. It's just if Pittman's not playing, I like Downs quite a bit. He'll easily finish as a wide receiver 3, possibly higher.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that.
Seeing double-digit targets more than likely.
Right. If Pittman does play, no.
Hard.
That's why we have two, because that's only helpful to a certain subset of people. And the other one that I have is we are contractually obligated to bring up Tyler Boyd, because Jamar Chase has been officially ruled out already. And whenever that happens, and you either Higgins or Chase is ruled out, Tyler Boyd gets an uptick. Also, did you see the Pittsburgh secondary? Did you see how crap it was? And did you see the fact that Kenny Pickett already got ruled out, so they're going to play Mason Rudolph, who I hope is something inappropriate and gets beaten with a helmet again? Did you see all those things? Because I saw them. It was on prime time. It was like a car crash. Couldn't look away. So I had to do both of those real quick, because those are things that we are contractually obligated to do on this show. As Jason well knows, we have to talk about Boyd and we have to talk about Downs when they are relevant. And with that, I will go to Lance. There's another one on this list, Lance, that I'm actually expecting you to pick.
I'd go probably Josh Palmer.
Oh, wow. That's not what I was expecting.
Just for the simple fact that
I like it.
they're going to have to be throwing the ball, and someone's going to be catching passes
penalty boxes
aside from Austin Eckler. So that's kind of what I got. I was really hoping you weren't going to say Tyler Boyd. But
yes, I can see the look on your face. You just didn't emote the way that I did when you picked mine earlier. That's why. Also, by the way, that's why I went. That's why I went rather than throwing to you, because I'm like, no, I know what he's going to do.
I thought he was going. What were you going to say? Curtis Samuel?
That or Brandon Cooks?
Okay.
Because Brandon Cooks against Miami is intriguing. That was one of my alternates. Was Brandon Cooks against Miami in a game that could really get out of hand quickly. The Miami secondary is not great, and Cooks is going to get down the field targets. So he's going to be running down the field with his hand up, and that might actually be okay. Curtis Samuel, I'll let you do it, but I think I know where you're going to go with Curtis Samuel.
Well, it's just the fact that, again, he has really been dominant. He's been one of the more consistent players, getting to double-digit fantasy points every week since he's been back and healthy. It's been nuts. It's the fact that he's going to be under siege. He's going to have to throw it.
You want to know why I didn't do that? It's because I'm not actually convinced Howell's going to play. I think there's a real chance it's going to be Brissett. And when we saw Brissett, who was actually playing better than Howell, by the way.
Well, yeah, he did that one drive was nuts.
Considerably better.
Saved McLaurin.
He was peppering McLaurin with targets when he was in there. And had no eyes for anyone else, because Jacoby Brissett is a man of taste. And he knows something good when he sees it. The man is all class. That one, Jacoby Brissett, targeting Terry McLaurin like that. So that's one of the things that's like a positive if he actually is going to start. But here's the problem: McLaurin's going to get draped by Sauce Gardner the entire game, and I don't like that.
That makes me nervous.
McLaurin is scary. If he's going to get that many targets, it's like that old Simpsons joke. That's good. He's going to get 10 targets. That's good. He's going to have Sauce Gardner literally inside of him for half the game. Ooh, that's bad. It's like you know, like that's not going to be good. You don't want that. So
Yeah. And the easy layup was clearly Nico Collins, but we've kind of touched on that all.
Yeah,
all
we
day,
already did that. Okay, before we get to tight end, I have an answer for you. Herbert Eckler Williams. It's a shallower league, I bet.
Yeah.
The 3 Chargers. Uh,
I get it,
Drew,
man.
Daniel, I'd be careful. There's probably a lot of loose soil somewhere where she could bury some bodies. And if she's like every woman I know, they do nothing all day but watch Making a Murderer and The First 48 and all these like true crime docs. That's every woman I know is what their viewing choices are. And it's fine. I'm not judging, but I'm like, I also am aware of the idea that if a couple of my friends end up going missing, they'll never find the body, and I ain't talking because I'm next. And they're not going to find me either. Like, see, what I'm saying? See, I don't know why. It's just something I know. It's every woman I know. And by the way, it crosses age ranges. Women love true crime. I don't know why. It's just something about it. That's just the thing. Men like it too, but I'm just saying every woman I know is watching Forensic Files and The First 48 and Making a Murderer and that Jeffrey Dahmer documentary. And this is why they keep making that stuff. Like, I don't know what this. I don't understand this question.
It must be something to do with the actual game.
Yeah, I would argue Disney went woke my entire life. So, but it's one of those things where they pretend for money. Because what Disney's actual corporate beliefs are very different than their corporate image. Take it from a guy who's worked with them in the past. You'd be shocked how the actual people that run that company operate. Like versus the stuff they put out. It's a very different group of people. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if the Steelers are going to force the ball to Pickens this week. I wouldn't count on it. Even if they tried, it's Mason Rudolph, so ew. And see what I'm saying? I had this conversation with somebody once, and I was accused of being sexist. And I'm like, no. This is not a sexist thing. This is like empirical data. And it's also anecdotal because it's the empirical data part of it is that if you actually go and look at the streaming numbers that get published, they provide the gender breakdowns. And it's like overwhelmingly the people who watched that Dahmer documentary, for example, that was largely the ladies. And it's like, and then that created the kind of questionable conversation around, oh, he's really hot. And I'm like, might technically be true, but
not something you say.
Not a good look. Yeah, maybe think that. Don't voice that. Like, all right, one last ride out here. Tight end, start of the week. Jason, hit it up.
It's Tyler Conklin versus the Panthers. We kind of touched on it. It's more likely not going to be Wilson. So Trevor Siemian came in and was the one who actually really boosted his numbers, not surprisingly. But he saw 7 targets. If a tight end's going to see 7 targets, I'm all for it.
Go for it, Lance.
Tucker Kraft against Panthers.
All right. And see, here's the problem. I know what Jason's expecting me to do, and I'm contemplating whether or not I want to just play into his little game or if I want to just. Nah, I'm going to do it. It's Cade Otton. It's Cade Otton. It's definitely Cade Otton because every Mayfield just continues to look his way and pepper him with targets. I'm not expecting Godwin to have another huge game in the background. We never did sit of the week for wide receiver, by the way. It just dawned on me.
Oh. Terry McLaurin versus the Jets.
Okay, I'm moving on from that because we already covered it. We already covered it. I'm not doing it again. We just covered it. Like, we already did it.
You went past it.
Yeah, we already did it. That's completely fine. I completely understand why you would do that. The whole Sauce Gardner thing. Blah 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 blah. And it's funny because he actually has objectively like the worst matchup of the week. It's pretty. It's kind of sad.
But if it's Brissett, man, doesn't matter.
Yeah, this week is tough because there's a lot of players that you normally wouldn't play that have really good matchups, and a lot of the players that you normally would want to play have really bad matchups. So it makes it hard to kind of pin it down. But for me, it's actually Adam Thielen just because of the inconsistency, and this is a playoff game.
Yeah.
So this is a playoff game. I can't deal with the inconsistency. I can't deal with the 5. I acknowledge the upside is there for him to have a huge week, but there is that. Lance.
I'd go with Godwin. He had a great week last week, but
Best week
I
of the
don't
season.
think that's going to continue. It's a lose and go home scenario. He's wide receiver 37 on points per game. He's not getting the red zone targets. Last week was kind of an outlier. So,
yeah. And then for tight end sits, this is always hard because there's so few tight ends you would actually want to play that sitting any of them is very difficult. But for me, it's Dalton Kincaid. The man has done nothing. The man has done nothing for weeks, and I could not possibly bring myself to play Dalton Kincaid. I would need to be desperate.
You're so rude.
Yeah, because I just kneecapped you.
Yes.
Yeah. I did it intentionally.
I know.
I sideswiped Jason Good there, Lance. I got him good.
Oh, the fact that CJ Stroud's out is going to be Dalton Schultz.
There you go. Dalton Schultz has already moved out of the top 12. He's now at 14. Pick again.
Oh, dang it.
Yep.
Golly. All right.
It's hard, isn't it? That's why I used my executive powers to sideswipe him, because normally he does this to me. I always go last. That's the format. The format is Neil typically always goes last.
Well, there's also
So
usually
I just sideswiped him right out of the gate.
You know what? I'm going to go. Well, the basic one, Evan Ingram.
Okay, that's a good one. That's.
We don't know
We
about
already covered that too.
I'm
We covered that
terrified
a
of
couple
it.
times on the show.
Yeah. So.
And Lance, we'll go to you, and then we've got one last thing, and then we're gonna call it a night.
I'd go George Kittle. Tough
Yeah.
matchup, and I think they're just going to keep him in the block, honestly, most of it. So I think you're going to see production from the other skill positions, but he's going to be in help and protection. So.
And then with this, I did not know this. Yeah, I couldn't get through it either. It was gross. It's just the whole visual part. I'm good. I would rather watch something else. And then yeah, Alt Monster or ATL Monster, excuse me. That's the podcast. That's the podcast he's talking about.
Yeah, I think I list, but it's
I never listened to it, but I googled it. It's very easy to find. Very easy to find that. So it's
thought it was named something else, or a sidetrack of something else. Maybe.
Possibly. Oh well. Let's see. Okay, so that's it, folks. We did it.
Somehow.
We did it. It was ugly as hell. It was as ugly as my prom date, but we got there in the end. Like it all came together. If you have stuck it out this far into this 2.5 hour marathon of a show with the half-hour rain delay when I realized what was going on with the streams, you are a true super fan. and thank you for that, because that is amazing. I'm still blown away that this show has any audience at all. Because it's basically come to watch Jason and Neil bicker like an old married couple.
People like it. I don't know.
I don't know why, but they do. And it's and then Lance sits there while we argue. And that's why we use Lance, because Lance is a good tiebreaker. He's doing the old Jordan job. He's doing the old Jordan job from before. Just tie break it. Yeah. Hang out in the Discord. It's always something going on in there. Steve's giving stats. We're answering questions. We're setting people's lineups. We're kind of screwing around just generally in that place. So it's always a good time in there. So tune in on Sunday for the final countdown. I will fix the rooms this time. So we will take care of that problem. So we won't have the repeat of this. But yeah, tune in again for the final countdown on Sunday. Come back tomorrow for Locked In to get your degenerate bets. If you've been eliminated and you need to scratch that itch, hit up Mason and Vishal. I think Mason and Vishal once again are at like 90% on the money line. And so if there's anybody I trust on gambling, it's those guys, because over the 3 years I've worked with them, I've realistically not seen two people that are more successful long-term gamblers than those people. So they've been gambling for their whole lives. They're good. So enjoy it. Good luck in your semifinals. And hopefully we will see everybody back one more time next week on Thursday for week 17 in the correct room for the championships. And until then, keep up the nonsense and have a week.